Even the elixir wouldn't be able to save his life. That damned Xin. I'll deal with her when I get back. Seeing this, Kong Fan's expression changed drastically. Father, don't. That's your last resort for saving your life. But before he could finish speaking, Kong Zheng stopped him. He knew that if he didn't bleed a little today to appease Marquis Song, this is a rejuvenation pill I painstakingly acquired from the Hong auction house. Since today these two young talents have performed sword dances for us, I shall part with it reluctantly. I offer this precious pill as a prize, to reward the victor. Mr. Song paused. He continued to add that my brother is also a person who has seen the world. I believe what I'm offering won't disappoint everyone. Being pushed into the spotlight, Kong Zheng understood what he meant. So, he took out a small bottle from his sleeve. A reward for being a saint. How to speak classical Chinese. Kong Zheng's heart was like 10,000 horses galloping. I also knew he was a guest. Why should you let me out? Naturally, Kong Zheng didn't dare to argue. He nodded repeatedly in agreement. Brother Kong, you've come a long way. Why not indulge a little? Give a little extra. Then he revealed a meaningful smile. Since Little Bay is going to perform a show at the banquet to liven things up, we should show our appreciation too. Brother Kong Zheng. Upon hearing this, after seeing the other party's agreement, Song Yunrui immediately excitedly told the butler to arrange the venue. Old Master Song waved his hand at this matter, indicating that there was no need to go to the martial arts arena. The two of them can just spar in the open space outside the banquet hall, and if cousin Yinxiang is able to teach that arrogant fool a lesson, it wouldn't be a bad thing either. At least our family won't be too harsh. Otherwise, a scheming woman could easily manipulate him. He wouldn't know what kind of societal beatdowns he would face in the future. Second Aunt Mrs. Cheng wanted to step forward and stop them, but Song Yunxiu interrupted her mother. Don't stop them just yet. This is a good opportunity. We can observe Song Yunxiang's true strength now. Heh, what a fool. Song Yunqi intended to fight in his place, but Song Yunxiang stopped him. Since Brother Yunrui said so, I'll take it from here. But don't worry, I'll suppress my power to match your level. I won't bully you or take advantage of you. Hearing these words, those who knew Song Yunxiang's true level were left speechless. It'll add some excitement to the banquet. You've definitely learned a lot at the Martial Academy this past year. Show us some skills to report your progress to your grandfather and elders. If I remember correctly, you were still at the early yellow rank when you left last year. After a year at the Martial Academy, you probably haven't broken through to the profound rank yet. After thinking for a moment, he came up with an idea. Song Yunxiang, I don't mean anything by this, but it's been a while since we brothers last met. Why don't we have a friendly sparring match with our soul powers? I got impulsive earlier. I didn't expect Yinchi to suddenly butt in. No, I need to change my approach. Today, no matter what, I have to make this loser embarrass himself in front of Miss Xingxing. Hearing this, Song Yunchi snorted coldly. Rui, how dare you disrespect Brother Yunxiang? You're being way too reckless. Knowing he's no match, Song Yunrui's face darkened upon hearing this. What's it got to do with you? Finally, he took the bait. Right after, a big foot came kicking at him. Caught off guard, Song Yunrui fell to the ground with a thud. He stood up angrily and questioned Song Yunchi. Are you out of your damn mind? He suddenly slammed the table and stood up. Song Yunxiang, I challenge you to a star soul duel. The winner will have the right to be with Miss Xingxing. Seeing this scene, both Song Yunxiang and Kong Xingxing couldn't help but feel secretly pleased. No, I must make this kid Song Yunxiang embarrass himself in front of Miss Xingxing. That's right, I am a peak Xian level powerhouse. In front of women, strength is a man's greatest charm. Having made up my mind, under everyone's gaze, the two started chatting like a couple in love. At the dining table, Song Yunrui was suddenly filled with anger. What is there to talk about with this useless Song Yunxiang? Why do they still look so happy talking together? Seeing this, Kong Zheng and Kong Fan were stunned for a moment. All they could do was pray that he wouldn't mess things up. Old Master Song immediately noticed what was going on. He chuckled. Yunxiang's stirring things up again. Wonder who he's trying to trap this time. It's really laughable. At that moment, the door to the theater slowly opened. After ending the call, Song Yunxiang stepped out confidently. Brother Yunxiang, Kong Xinxin said. He hurriedly went up to greet them enthusiastically. Shut up, you idiot. Seeing this scene, Song Yunchi started to tease. Sister, do you think those two ugly girls are going to get into a dogfight? That silly Ruizi seems to still be defending the ugly girl from the Kong family. The young lady can definitely help. Song Yunrui didn't notice the tension in the air. She came over looking like a lovesick puppy. Hearing this, Song Yunxiu felt somewhat helpless. If there's anything you need help with, just let me know. Mobilize the tax department. It won't be just a matter of a word from the city lord's mansion. Yeah, sis. Our business is thriving. He replied with a forced smile, Sister Yunshio, you really love to joke. Under the governance of our city lord's mansion, the public security is quite good. I heard that you are now responsible for managing the business investments of the Song family. In terms of taxes, there are bound to be some mistakes. Don't think I don't know what you want to do. If you want to see the headline in tomorrow's Anyang City Daily about a young girl in green, ragged clothes dying in the street, then go ahead and try. Hearing these threatening words, Kong Shinshin showed no signs of fear whatsoever. Even in the entire southern region, classmate Yunrui is an outstanding young talent. Upon hearing this, a glint of coldness appeared in Song Yunshio's eyes. You want to use my brother, Song Yunshio, as a pawn? I really will kill you. How could that be, Sister Yunshio? I was just chatting with Yunrui about some school matters. You should know that classmate Yunrui is our Ji Wuyu's top genius. Not just in this small Yeoman city. Song Yunshio, the nearest one, couldn't stand it anymore. Green Tea Kong, I'm warning you first. Stirring up trouble in our Song family, but he will die miserably. Kong Xingxing hypocritically defended himself after hearing this. Heaven, please help me. Xinxin better not cause any trouble at the Song residence. She absolutely mustn't stir up any trouble. Grandpa, I just broke through to the heavenly tier. I still want to enjoy a few more years in this bustling world. Kong Xingxing, seeing him like this, continued to whisper boastfully in his ear. Feeling uneasy, Kong Zheng stood up and respectfully clinked glasses with Old Master Song. Although he remained calm on the surface, he had already noticed Kong Xinxin's odd behavior. Song Yunrui was overjoyed. He felt like he was on cloud 9. I think the most hardworking and outstanding person in the Song family is you, Yunrui. It's just a shame that Grandpa Song always favors Song Yunxiang. I really think it's unfair to you. I know what I'm doing. Meanwhile, in the banquet hall, Kong Xinxin approached Song Yunrui with a plan in mind. Hearing his goddess praise him to his face. The seller of the sand sculpture is very powerful. It's best to negotiate peacefully. You must not do anything reckless. When Yen Song Yunxiang stated, it's fine, just relax. The rest I'll leave to you. Hong Fong listened. He repeatedly agreed. Alright, young Master Song. However, I still dare to remind you. After pondering this, he spoke and said, then it's settled. I will first prepare the main materials for the beast exchange. Then I'll personally go to Sand Sculpture City, to see if I can get that black silver flower from the seller. The time when I accidentally entered the Star Lord's secret realm while crossing the Death Desert should be the next day. If I set off the day after tomorrow, I'll first go to the southern wilderness to collect beast materials, and then make a trip to Sand Sculpture City. We should still have plenty of time. Just send me the list. I will go prepare these materials. At this moment, Song Yunxiang needs a large amount of practical experience to stabilize his realm. Moreover, he has to go to the Death Desert to search for the Star Lord's secret realm. According to the last time's calculation, are unique to the southern wilderness and the Death Desert. Acquiring them on our side might require a lot of luck. The timeline is uncertain. I see, that's fine. They only want to barter with materials from fierce beasts. Hearing this, Song Yunxiang breathed a sigh of relief. Bartering was indeed a clever move. The person from the red faction looked troubled. It's just that half of the beast materials they provided on the list. He asked when the others, besides Wu Yinhua, would be delivered. The red team replied that it would take about 10 days, at a conservative estimate. However, 2 of them are in the hands of researchers under Xia Yugua's Samran family. They don't accept monetary transactions. They belong to the expansionist Murek faction. It is one of the 3 major forces on the surface of Sandstone City. This expansionist faction is very hostile towards the Tiandu merchants, so it's a bit tricky to deal with. Song Yunxiang frowned slightly after hearing this. The Western District houses the military forces of Sand Sculpture City's 9 cities. The commercial district surrounding the inner city is home to auctions, slave markets, dining, and entertainment. The outermost district is home to the settlers and the downtrodden drifters. Mecca, which lacks the inner pearls, is located in the Western District of Sandstone City. The Mecca family controls over 60% of the military forces in the Western District. It serves as an important military stronghold for Xia Yu Kingdom to defend against beasts from the southern wilderness and suppress the demon tribes. Due to the rapid expansion of Xia Yu Kingdom, a large population has gathered here. The Sand Sculpture City, built less than a century ago, has gradually formed 4 areas within its towering 100-foot walls. Noble families enjoy a decadent lifestyle in the inner city, protected by layers of walls. The main issue is that black cherry blossoms are extremely rare. So far, we've only found one. It's in the hands of the Mai clan in Shidayo City. Shidayo City of Wei lies on the eastern border. surrounded by a deadly desert, currently being transferred from northern Zhou via the Lin branch. The other two are imprisoned. The state has missiles, and so do we, but it will take some time. The tricky one is the last one. A voice from the red faction came through. After some pleasantries, he stated his purpose. The 4 key people Prince Song asked about have been located. One of them can be accessed through our home trading guild. Everyone, please continue eating. I'll excuse myself for a moment. After greeting them, Song Yunxiang entered the side hall. After the equipment was connected. Hey, do you think Miss Star is secretly watching me? Hearing this, Song Yunxiu felt a bit helpless. At that moment, a notification came through Song Yunxiang's device. He stood up and said, Sir. He suddenly had an idea. That not-so-smart guy could be useful after all. Feeling the gaze of his crush, Song Yunrui felt quite pleased. Everyone, let us drink to this. With that, everyone present raised their glasses and drank it all. Dong Xinxin's expression was unpredictable. I need to think of a way to stir things up. Since Grandpa and Dad won't let me speak, this girl has been spoiled by me at home. Please don't take offense, my old friend. Old Master Song laughed heartily, saying, no problem, no problem. A child as outstanding as Xinxin must be the treasured gem of your Kong family. Xinxin, don't be rude. Kong Fan quickly held back his daughter. Please sit down and eat first, grandfather. Let's observe before we continue. Then the two stood up and bowed respectfully. Thinking this, he stood up and called out, Grandpa Song. Actually, we came this time mainly to talk. When it comes to this, Kong Jingdun feels as if struck by lightning. He immediately interrupted her, you little brat. Are you trying to kill me? Realizing something was wrong, Kong Fan was also at a loss. But Kong Xinxin seemed indifferent. Weren't they supposed to strongly break off the engagement? Why are Grandpa and Father really sitting down to eat? No, I have to speak up first. We're even. Bring the food. He waved his hand grandly. A line of maids entered, carrying the already prepared dishes. After sitting down, Kong Jing felt restless for a moment. That old guy just tripped. Did you set up some kind of formation at the door? Huh, you're quite the sneaky one. Song Yunxiang chuckled. Didn't you make a move too? Anything lost at the Song residence will not go missing without a reason. Someone, Old Master Kong accidentally lost a valuable item on his way here. Whoever finds it will be richly rewarded. At this moment, Old Master Song secretly gave a thumbs up to Song Yunxiang, standing beside him. I didn't have time to look for it. Please arrange for someone to help search for it. I am deeply grateful. Song Mu expressed in a formal tone. No worries, Your Excellency, rest assured. Kong Jing clasped his hands and bowed. Then he looked toward Song's mother behind him. May I trouble the head steward? Just now, I accidentally dropped a treasure. In my haste to see the marquis, I hope I didn't embarrass you all. Kong Jing awkwardly explained. Well, that's good if there's no problem. Please, take a seat. Alright. Kong Jing, my brother. It's alright, right? No worries. I was too excited to see my brother just now. I accidentally tripped a bit. There's really no need for Elder Kong to punish himself like this. Hearing this, several younger ones couldn't help but laugh out loud. Elder Song felt immensely pleased inside. Quick, help Elder Kong. It's happened several times tonight. And he's supposed to be a heavenly tier expert. He's really embarrassing me. Song Yunxiang immediately teased. Although it's true that I was a bit late. At this moment, everyone turned their heads to look. The scene instantly fell into silence. Seeing this, Kong Xinxin was speechless. What's Grandpa doing? Apologies. As Kong Jing entered, Old Master Song's gaze suddenly sharpened. An invisible pressure immediately crashed down on him. Caught off guard, Kong Jing fell to his knees with a thud. As soon as the words were spoken, Kong Jing walked in with small steps. Here he comes. Brother in the mirror. Sorry I'm late, little brother. You're being too polite, Lord Kong. Please take a seat, daughter-in-law. You all move to the back a bit. Where is your old Master Kong? Weren't you all supposed to come together? She greeted all the elders of the Song family. Lord Kong Fan, the city lord of Yongnan, greeted Lord Song. She greeted all the ladies of the Song family. After the words fell, the members of the Song family also stood up in response. Old Master Song said. She looked at the door with great anticipation. Then, under the respectful greeting of the Qing dynasty, a few people slowly walked in. Xin greeted Grandpa Song. The distinguished guests of the Kong family had a swana played and so on. Upon hearing this, Qing Dai was a bit taken aback. Does the Lord really want that? Just kidding, my lord. Young Master Yunxiang. The honored guests from the Kong family have arrived. Old Master Song put down his wine cup. The guests arrived and music was played to welcome them. Your Highness, please. As the solemn voice fell, he reacted as well. He responded with a simple, "All right." The maid Qing Dai entered the hall first. This guy is even stronger than those two strange ones from before. Kong Zheng, feeling the opponent's pressure, was once again dumbfounded on the spot. "Master Kong, our lord is in the banquet hall." He picked up the pill and prepared to swallow it. But just then, Song Mu's figure suddenly appeared behind him. Frightened, he dropped the pill from his hand. It fell to the ground. "I'll be able to create a new soul. Then I can leave without a trace. Suddenly, even the Song family's heavy bandits won't catch up to me." Thinking this, "I'm doomed, my mission this time is at stake. I truly underestimated the heroes of the world. The Song family has set up a feast of the treacherous. I can't just sit here and wait for death. As long as I take this powerful pill." They didn't alarm anyone else, but revealing such strength. Could it be that I thought of this? He suddenly broke out in a cold sweat. Could it be that the Song family has no intention of letting me return alive this time? The Song family has malicious intentions. Their motives are unscrupulous. I will definitely accuse you of treason. Wait, that's not right. Although those two strong individuals just targeted me. At that moment, he finally realized that everything that had happened before was real. The Song family actually hid so many experts. What on earth is going on? Song Jingzhong is returning this time. I must report to the court. Not crushing his little Kun is already showing a lot of respect to the court. Song Mu felt a bit helpless upon hearing this. "Mr. Ma, please be careful with your words." Soon after, several people arrived at the entrance of the banquet hall. Old Master Kong clutched his chest, feeling extremely frustrated. The Lord's intention is just to have you focus on Old Master Kong alone, and to slightly intimidate him without alarming anyone else. Isn't this a bit too ruthless? Ma Sanwen replied disdainfully. "I came to the Song family to stir things up." Did those two actually make a move too? Back in the East Courtyard, I already had a feeling they were unfathomable. I didn't expect that not only are there realms above the heavenly realm, but they also understand these strange methods. At this moment, the steward appeared solemnly between the two. "I bit my tongue when I fell, that's all." After explaining, he nervously glanced back at the spot again. But this time, the person was gone again. The three from the Qing dynasty were speechless at the scene. Then, their gaze shifted to the distant building. He spat out a mouthful of blood. He then staggered and collapsed onto the ground. Hearing the commotion, everyone turned and rushed over. Kong Zheng forced himself to show that he was fine, just tripped accidentally. Kong Zheng noticed this as well. He gasped in shock. Their eyes met. Ma San's pupils suddenly constricted. In an instant, an invisible pressure surged towards Kong Zheng's heart. Along the way, old Master Peng kept reassuring himself, "It's impossible. It's impossible that the Song family would have someone of that level." As they passed through an alley, he glanced casually. Suddenly, he noticed a vague figure sitting in a wheelchair in the darkness. Kong Fan waved his hand to indicate it was nothing. Just that the old man dropped something. "Fanner, help me up. My knee seems to be acting up a bit." Then the group continued toward the banquet hall. But at that moment, he found the pavilion completely empty. He thought he was just seeing things. But upon seeing the discarded cigarette butt on the ground, he realized something was off. Hearing the noise, Kong Xingxing came back to ask what was wrong. The soul talisman slipped from his hand and fell to the ground. Seeing this, Kong Fan hurried over to support him. "Damn it, who is it?" Kong Jing reacted. He then looked towards the position from earlier. This person was Xia Beija, the coachman of the Song family. Xia Beija frowned slightly. He glanced coldly at the other party. In an instant, an invisible pressure struck, confronting the fearful gaze. Unprepared, he was overwhelmed and knelt on one knee with a thud. "It's okay, I still have a spare one," Kong Jing said. He looked around. He took out another soul talisman. But he discovered that a figure had appeared in the pavilion not far away. "You put it on immediately, and run off with Xing Xing." "Understood, father. Now you've given it to me. What will you do?" As they passed a corner, Kong Zheng was still a bit uneasy. So he quietly pulled his son Kong Fan aside. "Take this gentleman's sword soul seal with you. If anything happens later." He no longer had any reservations. He called to Kong Fan and walked inside. "Humph. I'll just see what tricks you all are up to." Then they followed him to the banquet hall. "Yes, they must have used some evil magic to deceive me. I was careless and didn't see through them just now. Even if there is such a young heaven, how could he be willing to be subordinate to the Song family?" After coming to this realization, and Mr. Kong is still in a state of confusion and has not yet recovered. How is it possible? How come the Song family has 3 heavens, and he still looks so young? Wait, they're still wearing scary clothes. At this moment, outside the banquet hall, the maid Qing Dai made a gesture inviting them in. Song Yunqi realized what was happening. and hurriedly invited them in as well. Kong Xinshin strode in at the very front. Seeing this scene, Song Yunjing and her brother were puzzled. It seems that Song Yunxiu has figured something out. They actually revealed a look as if they were expecting a good show. Hee, could it be they dug a trap for the Kong family? But a vague expression appeared on his face. He then called the butler, Song Mu, over. He quietly arranged some matters. After that, he shared a knowing smile with Song Yunxiang. He felt immensely pleased inside. At that moment, a guard came in to report. The Kong family's African delegation has arrived. Young Master Yunrui and several from the East Courtyard are welcoming them. Is he here? Old Master Song casually said. Hearing this, Song Yunxiang was truly at a loss for words. When Song Yunxiu saw him coming over, she quickly gave up her spot, and began to flatter him with a smile. Brother, were you experimenting with something good in there just now? Look, is there anything I can help with? If you want to test any elixirs or something, I'm not against it. I could be a guinea pig for once. Is managed by Aunt Chow. It looks like I need to plan carefully. At this moment, the door to the screening room slowly opened. Old Master Song and Song Yunxiang also strode out. Song Yunqi immediately stuck his face over, shamelessly. He started plotting. If there are more than a dozen of them, I'm afraid Yunxiang really has a major sect backing him, and at least at the 5th rank or above. The medicinal business in father's hands. Aunt Qing quietly told Song Yunxiu about what had just happened. Upon hearing that Song Yunxiang possessed an entire bottle of 5th-tier elixirs, Song Yunxiu was equally surprised, unable to believe it. After calming down, he cursed 3 times. What on earth is happening? Why does the Song family have 3 heaven-tier experts? Meanwhile, in the banquet hall, he led the way inside. At this point, Kong Jing no longer had the arrogant look from earlier. He stood there in a daze. His face was blank. At this moment, his heart was like a stampede of horses. They are the gatekeepers of our East Courtyard. We are here on the orders of young Master Feng Yunxiang. We have come to welcome the distinguished guests of the Kong family. Please come in. He realized. He hurriedly cupped his fists and bowed. You 3 are the attendants. The servant then turned and walked to the side to introduce. Forgive me, I am the head maid of the East Courtyard of the Song residence. The scene was now utterly silent. Kong Fan showed a look of disbelief. How is this possible? The heavenly aura my father released was neutralized. Could it have been these 3 seemingly unremarkable nobodies? Qing Dai asked for their opinion. After receiving a confirmed reply, they immediately unleashed their celestial auras. A moment later, with a swish, the oppressive aura in the air instantly dissipated. Deservedly so at this moment. Only 3 people in the arena remained calm and composed. The 2 clan leaders. Let's make our move. Witnessing this scene, a glimmer of greed flashed in Kong Fan's eyes. Back to the present. It seems Kong Zheng has no intention of stopping. Kid, don't blame me for making you lose face in front of Xinger. After all, you're the grandson of that old Song family fool. I will have the perfect excuse to blow up. If Song Yunxiang is indeed as rumored, just a fragile flower, you can act fake towards that amateur star for now. In the meantime, we'll secretly look for opportunities to gradually take over the Song family's assets. Hearing the old man's words, this banquet of the Song family, we will act according to the situation. If it turns out that Song family's illegitimate son truly can't handle this marriage, we'll just back out directly. If that old fool Song dares to say a single word against it, a strong deity senses strength. It is far beyond your mere earth realm. Moreover, I have once served that esteemed individual. Such an extraordinary aura can only belong to someone of that caliber. I would never make a mistake. The commoner of Star Soul General Chao Ren. Hearing this, Kong Fan is somewhat incredulous. Is what you say really true? Are you sure you haven't made a mistake? I am a dignified heavenly realm. He's not even as good as the guards in our city lord's mansion. That's not quite right, but you may not know. Just now I sensed a faint extraordinary aura from that kid. I'm afraid this kid really is as he claims. Kong Xinshin was overjoyed, but Kong Fan beside her had a different opinion. Father, you're exaggerating a bit, aren't you? I see that kid only has a mere Shen level cultivation. With this kind of strength, I've also met him a few times. Not to mention his soul pulse is incomplete. Even his star power is far from being comparable to Xiner here. Your judgment is truly remarkable. Hearing her grandfather's praise, Kong Zheng pondered for a moment. Although this kid has a complicated background, his features are indeed heroic and impressive. He seems to be someone with great potential. As for the boy from the Song family, he promised on the way here. Now why is he talking about money? It turns out, not long ago, they had a discussion in Africa. At that time, Kong Xinshin asked Grandpa what he thought of the boy under her skirt. Realm from his body, In an instant, a powerful pressure surged toward everyone. Those with low cultivation could only struggle under this pressure. Is father planning to give the Song family a warning first? Kong Fan was greatly surprised. Is this interesting? Let me release my celestial aura and intimidate you a bit. With that thought in mind, he then unleashed the aura of the heavenly rank that has benefited the millions of citizens in Yong'an City. This great achievement can be considered the best among all the cities in the southern province. Seeing these two engage in mutual flattery, Kong Zheng felt quite helpless in his heart. He pretended not to recognize them, whether it's Song Bo or Song Air. Hearing Kong Fan's praise, Song Yunrui couldn't contain his joy. Uncle Kong, you're too kind. My father often says it's all thanks to you, Lord Mayor, for your excellent governance. Hoping to make a good impression, handsome and talented, he truly stood out. If my guess is correct, your father should be the business genius of the Song family. I knew it, you're just another lecherous pervert obsessed with my beauty. Ugh. As the two were talking, Kong Fan, Old Master Kong, and Kong Zheng disembarked from the boat. Seeing this, Kong Xinshin quickly pulled him over and made introductions. Song Yurui, being perceptive, hurriedly stepped forward to greet them. Kong Xinshin put on a look of admiration like a little girl, but in her heart, she felt disgusted. Idiot, I've known this all along. His cousin can't be a good person either. Look at you, leering like that. Miss Xinshin doesn't know. Song Yunxiang is my cousin. You're so diligent and hardworking at school. You work with such humility and discretion. I never expected you to be from such a wealthy family. Miss Xinshin. Welcome, welcome. Song Yunrui. Why are you here? What's your relationship with Song Yunxiang? Everyone immediately lined up. Moments later, when the plane had landed, the people inside began to disembark. At the moment they saw Kong Xinshin, Song Yunrui immediately switched to a refined and courteous demeanor. Before they could figure it out, an aircraft from Africa slowly approached. This is the Kong family's Africa. Get ready to welcome the distinguished guests. As soon as Song Yunrui gave the order, Song Yunrui seemed puzzled after hearing that. Are you saying they might be from the Shadow Guard? Young master, be careful with your words. The Shadow Guard is one of the Song family's top secrets. The Marquis probably wouldn't use them for such a minor matter. He naturally saw it too. The butler frowned, and added about those two men in guard uniforms. I think I've seen them in Song's attire. They might be the ones secretly trained by the Marquis. These three have an extraordinary aura. Their cultivation level is probably above Tianjia. Nonsense, I didn't order anything. Song Yunrui could only complain inwardly. That scene of walking in the air just now, the head maid of the East Courtyard, Chongqing, has seen young Master Yunrui. We were sent by young Master Feng Yunxiang to welcome the distinguished guests of the Kong family. Upon hearing these words, the butler Song Shui quietly stepped forward to remind them. Seeing this, Song Yunrui's expression immediately changed dramatically. At this moment, Song Shui showed an incredibly surprised expression. It seems like the young masters are dressed like the gatekeepers of the East Courtyard. Seeing this scene, Song Yunrui was momentarily confused. They were indeed preparing to welcome guests from the Kong family. Just as he finished speaking, three figures suddenly appeared in midair in the distance. Who can walk in the air? A heaven-tier expert. How would you know who has the luck? Not long after, outside the Song residence, Song Yunrui was leading the steward from the western courtyard to welcome the Kong family. Young master, look, it seems like it's Kong's Africa. A glint of gold flashed in old Master Wenyan's eyes. It's fine, this is quite good. I, Song Jia, have been keeping a low profile for over a decade. It's time to show these guys what I've got. If you don't try it on. The two people nearby saw this, and were a bit speechless. Song Muchu asked, Lord Ho, revealing your strength like this, isn't it a bit too flashy? Why don't we change into the East Garden security uniforms and disguise ourselves? Then Qing Dai can take them to welcome the guests from the Kong family. Sounds good, sounds good. Kid, you've got a bright future. Hearing this, Song Yunxiang patted him on the shoulder. No, no. Now, there's no need to escalate the conflict with Kong Jia to the open. It would be best to resolve it in a gentle and low-key manner. Ma Jinhua said. She has a good idea. The term Heaven's Way is indeed a common expression across several continents. Young Master Yunxiang, what should we do now? Should Jin and I grab the Kong family from Tianjia and give them a beating first? Upon hearing this, Song Yunxiang shook his head. Soul power comes from the will of heaven. So it really is true. After noticing the old master giving him a signal, Song Yunxiang immediately responded with a hand gesture of understanding. It seemed like the old master was afraid he might blurt out the word rise and fall. You sensed it correctly. That is the will of heaven. Upon hearing this response, Ma Jinhua was immediately stunned in place. So that's how it is, because he couldn't feel anything. Song Yunxiang's expression changed slightly after hearing this. Xinhuang Jin can actually sense the existence of Xinhuang. It seems that he has a high talent for spiritual perception. At this moment, the old man replied, entering the sacred stage is no problem. What's going on? I suddenly have a vague feeling that the soul power within me seems to be connected to somewhere in the sky. Ma Jinhua's words left Gao Gata somewhat puzzled. Seeing this, Song Yunxiang revealed a smile. The heavenly stage is just kindergarten. The sacred stage is just the beginning. With their qualifications, I really want to summon a mech and have a thrilling fight with someone. Ma Jinhua was equally unable to contain her excitement. Awesome, stepping in the air. So this is what it feels like. The two of them slowly stood up after hearing this. Young Master Xia Yunxiang has recovered. Gao Dai was overwhelmed with excitement after feeling the power within. Is this the power of the celestial realm? It's so powerful. On the other party, in the next second, Qing Dai was enveloped in a pure water sphere. Moments later, she transformed into a completely refreshed appearance. Good, now this clean look is fitting for the head maid of the Eastern Court. The two of you have stabilized your realms, right? Hearing this, Song Yunxiang revealed a satisfied smile. Qing Dai's aptitude is limited. Being forcibly pushed to the celestial street by external forces isn't a bad deal, right? With that, he activated the purification formation. Master, I, Qing Dai, am a death guard of the Song family. This life and body have always belonged to you. Your grace, Master, I can never repay. I only wish to become your sword, and cut down all your enemies, to push you up to the heaven tier. I really had to dig deep into my reserves. Hearing this, Qing Dai was moved to tears. He immediately knelt on one knee, pledging his loyalty. Who says it's fast? You really cost me quite a bit of effort. Both of them are at the peak of the earth tier. Just one breakthrough pill is enough for them. But you're only at the early earth tier. Song Yunxiang asked him in front of him. At this moment, he was slumped on the ground, drenched in sweat. I just broke through to the heavenly stage like this. It's simply unbelievable. Young Master, this is too fast. It was quite awkward. I thought young Master Yunxiang was just joking. I didn't expect that he would forcefully push the three of them up to the heavenly street. This makes us old guys, who have been quietly hiding our strength, seem a bit ridiculous. Qing Dai, how do you feel now? Countless thoughts filled my mind. I didn't expect this kid to have such a profound understanding of formations. And he only endured the heaven-level formation 3 times. Do you have any idea how much it costs to hire a master formation arranger to set up such a formation? Song Mu frowned deeply beside me. A burst of light red smoke drifted into the air. Song Yunxiang said helplessly, is it a temporary formation arranged in a hurry? It collapsed after only 3 heaven-level breakthroughs. The old man heard this. There are actually 3 waves of heavenly rank aura. Sis, what if I had shamelessly followed them in just now? Then is it also a Tianjia now? At the same time, in the side hall, there was a buzzing sound, and another wave of heavenly rank energy rippled out. The two of them were so shocked that they collapsed onto the ground, stunned like wooden statues. Is there another heavenly rank? Calm down. I am the eldest sister of the 3rd generation of the Song family, the commander of the Red Luan army. I absolutely cannot appear uncultured in front of my younger siblings. Just as he was suppressing his restless emotions, but there were definitely several. Stoli, huh? Hearing this answer, Song Yunjin was stunned in surprise. However, he quickly composed himself. That could save 2 or 3 years of hard cultivation. Hearing this, Song Yunjin's face immediately changed. Wait, you mean this precious elixir? Song Yunxiang has more than one. Just now, he casually took out a whole bottle. I didn't count carefully. He said if I behaved well these days, he'd give me one. From now on, Song Yunxiang is my real brother. Sis, why don't you recognize him as your brother too? A single earth spirit pill. As expected, Song Yunjin showed a shocked expression. At that moment, being smart as I am, I immediately surrendered. I knelt down and called him brother right away. It was absolutely brilliant. He quietly explained. Right before you arrived, Yunxiang took a earth spirit pill right in front of us. He instantly advanced from the early earth stage to the mid-earth stage. He even has treasures like that, and were instantly struck as if by lightning. This is the aura of a breakthrough to the heavenly rank. I knew Yunxiang had something good up his sleeve. That commotion from breaking through to the sky stage must have been caused by him. Seeing his sister's confused expression, come here and sit properly. After saying that, he pulled him back to his seat. But suddenly, 2 faint waves of soul power emanated from the hall. The two outside felt it. I'll have you break through the heavens and give it a try now. What kind of confidence does old man Kong have? To dare to arm wrestle with the Song family. At this moment, outside the heavenly court, Song Yunchi, who was eavesdropping, was caught and scolded by his elder sister. What does this look like? Qing dynasty Song Yunxiang finished speaking. Then he reached into his robe. The three subordinates received the order, and immediately clasped their fists, responding in unison with a hum. They've already stepped on our face. We can't just endure it like this. Let's not reveal our trump cards, but play a few new ones. AGA, Ajin. Just cancel it. As for the Song family's cards, there's no need to expose them. The old man heard this, and spoke calmly. If you are willing to keep this marriage contract, the Song family is not against showing a few cards. Hearing this, Song Yunxiang quickly waved his hand to refuse. There's no need for that, I have no interest in this marriage contract. So the foundation of the Kong family is just the recently breakthrough Grandmaster Kong. What a joke. They still want to compete with my Song family. I'm afraid I'll die laughing. Yunxiang, how do you plan to handle this? Not to mention joining the Kong family. I would even give up my life for you. Hearing this conversation, everyone was speechless. Song Yunxiang understood a bit as well. After Ma Jinhua finished speaking, she pressed the recorder's switch. The voices of Kong Xingxing and Sun Xia could also be heard inside. Brother Sun Xia, tonight, I'll go to the Song family to cancel the engagement with that playboy. Don't worry, my little star baby. He plans to bring Sun Xia into the family by marriage. They intend to call off the engagement publicly at tonight's banquet. The Kong family patriarch is even boasting about challenging the Song family. Just now, Kong Xingxing took the city lord and the patriarch to secretly assess Sun Xia. Our people recorded part of their conversation. Song Yunxiang took the photos and glanced at them. It was an incredibly awkward moment. The picture showed Kong Xingxing and Sun Xia hugging intimately. According to reports from our second hidden guard team infiltrating the Kong family, the Kong family patriarch has broken through to the celestial realm. He gestured that formalities weren't necessary. Just tell me what's going on. Upon hearing the command, Ma Jinhua hurriedly pulled out a few photos from her pocket. She said they were taken in Dog Alley by Yin Shao. Song Yunchi on the side was puzzled by this. He wanted to quietly follow along and see, but Qing Dai blocked him at the side hall door. As the door quietly clicked shut, the two who had been waiting inside respectfully bowed to the old master. Hearing this, the old man put down his wine glass. Let's go talk about something. Let's sit here and chat for a bit first. After saying that, he took Song Yunxiang and left the hall. At this moment, the maid Qing Dai also happened to walk in. Young Master Lin Xiang, the clan leader Ma has returned. He wants to report to you and the Marquis in person. He is already waiting in the next side hall. Song Yunxiu became furious. Song Yunrui, you're looking for trouble, aren't you? Seeing his older sister angry, Song Yunrui greeted and then quickly ran outside. Grandpa, I'll take the water and go greet Lord Kong and the others at the main gate. But it's true. Miss Xingxin is indeed gentler than you, and her figure is better too. As he said this, he maliciously glanced at her chest, realizing she'd been humiliated, that she's just a green tea bitch. Sis, don't say that. You don't know Miss Kong Xingxin very well. Don't judge people with prejudice. Wait, could it be that you're jealous of how much more popular Miss Xingxin is than you? I believe in Lord Kong. He will weigh the pros and cons himself. I really don't understand. Why do all of you like Kong Xingxin? I can see at a glance. Don't worry, Miss Xingxin wouldn't even look at that useless person. Once I break through to the Earth stage, I will prove that I am the #1 talent of the Song family. At that time, I will ask my grandfather to change my engagement to me. Between a good-for-nothing wastrel without parents and a young genius who is the heir of the Song family's fortune, Song Yunxiu felt quite helpless. I told you not to be so affectionate. Kong Xingxin at least has an engagement with Song Yunxiang. She can be considered your future sister-in-law. Hearing this, Song Yunrui smiled confidently. Just wait a moment. Hearing these words, Song Yunrui's eyes immediately lit up. Sister, are Lord Kong and Miss Xingxin coming to our house tonight? Look at him, such a submissive dog. Song Mu continued to inquire. Forget it, don't urge them. The old man waved his hand upon hearing this. That kid Kong Fan is at least the lord of a city. A dignified court hound should be given some respect. I was so happy that I forgot about them. Then this drink doesn't count. I punish myself. After saying that, he raised his cup and downed it in one gulp. Then I'll go urge them a bit. Please wait, my lord. Didn't you also invite guests from the Kong family? Thanks to the reminder from butler Song Mu beside him, the old man suddenly remembered. Oh right, I did invite them to the banquet. He indicated that he wanted to pour wine for brother Yunxiang. A few latecomers were completely stunned by this scene. This guy is usually so arrogant. He never puts his brothers Yunxiang and Yinrui in his eyes. Why the sudden change of heart today? Fill your glasses up. Let's raise our glasses together. This first cup of wine is only to celebrate our success. As soon as the words were spoken, Song Yunchi immediately raised his hand to offer his service. He has a rather reticent personality. Please take your seats, don't just stand there. Everyone sit down and talk. Once the old man saw everyone had arrived, he raised his own wine glass. At this moment, a ponytailed girl also came by to greet them. After a brief moment of surprise, Song Yunxiang responded, "Hello, Sister Yunzhao." Yunzhao is the child of second uncle and Aunt Zhao. I don't recall speaking much with him in my previous life. Yes, you little clever one. Song Yunxiang affectionately patted her head. Yunhua is the youngest sister in the family, born to the second uncle and Aunt Zhou. She's the closest one to him among the third generation of the Song family. Upon hearing this, little Yunhua giggled in response. Yunhua doesn't want to grow up. It's so much better to be a child and do whatever I want. There are too many rules that adults have to follow. Just as he was pondering this, a little girl suddenly jumped into his arms. Yunhua, it's been a long time. Why haven't you grown up yet? You're still such a little one. Countless thoughts raced through his mind. There were basically no issues with the people present. Could it be that the traitor mentioned by Song Yunrui, which led to the Song family's destruction, is someone else? It's just unclear whether this guy knows who the so-called illegitimate child he mentioned in the future is. Why not create an opportunity to test him? But the results of his investigation were surprisingly unexpected. Uncle Four had not concealed his strength at all. He was indeed a genuine cultivator at the early stage of the mysterious realm. After finishing his casual chat with Uncle Four, Song Yunxiang returned to his seat. He frowned tightly at this moment. After saying that, Song Tsang quietly moved closer. Wait a moment, let's call Ma-san to join us tonight. I'll pick up the bill, and we'll go out for a couple more drinks. We'll talk more about it later. Song Yunxiang casually held his hand. Hey, little boo. Long time no see. Song Yunxiang waved to greet him. Huh, you finally came back. I missed you so much, Uncle C. The woman behind him is Song Qian. She's the adopted daughter of the old marquis. Her cultivation is at the early stage of binding. The last chubby guy wearing glasses is Song Hua. He is the steward of the south courtyard of the Song residence. But his cultivation is only at the early Xian level. He's an old bachelor who is neither good at academics nor martial arts. A simple-minded, lazy homebody living off his family. He's always lived in the shadow of his three older brothers. He shares the same vices as Song Yunxiang, drinking, gambling, and debauchery. Just as they were talking, several more figures walked in from outside. A sleazy fat man named Song Tsang, the fourth lord of the Song family. He was the master of Nanyuan. Seeing this scene, Song Yunxiang quickly stepped in to ease the awkwardness. He said he'd cover the expenses himself. The old man knew he had recently made a fortune, so he nodded in agreement. Bring me a list. I will reimburse you. Upon hearing this, Song Yunxiu showed a mocking expression. I wonder what could make the big sister put down her military duties to come back for a meal. It turns out she came to settle accounts with Grandpa. She seems to have always struggled with funding issues. Yet, her upbringing makes her reluctant to speak of money. The old man smiled slightly as his beard twitched. Gil's arrangements for picking up Yunxiang this time were quite good. All the maintenance costs and losses from this trip is indeed a bit difficult to see through. Seeing this, Song Yunxiang immediately stood up. The other party is the eldest daughter of the third generation of the Song family. Being able to establish the Chilwan army shows her capabilities. However, in my impression, he couldn't help but clench his fists. At that moment, Song Yunjin, dressed in red, also walked in. After greeting the elders, he too looked toward Song Yunxiang, someone who could remain calm in the face of a divine-level ferocious beast and lead them to safety. The person he had been hunting for those years. The wild child he mentioned. Could it be related to this incident? Could it be that there's a traitor within the direct bloodline of the Song family? Thinking of this, Song Yunrui left alone. As for the name of the person he was hunting, he kept silent about it. Upon reflecting on this, Song Yunxiang suddenly realized a problem. I, Song Jia, wouldn't have suffered the complete downfall of my family. Just stay here and enjoy being the empress. It's not too bad. I'll come back to see you if I get the chance. I'll finish what I have to say then. I reunited with Song Yunrui once. At that time, he was relentlessly hunting someone. Even if I have to chase him to the ends of the earth, I will kill that damn bastard. If it weren't for him, in the previous life, he was the sole survivor of the Song family in the court during this grand celebration. 3 years later, the decisive battle at Tiandu, the Xuanjia forces were completely wiped out. Asen fell. Under the Empress's protection, I fled to Zishuibo. Song Yunrui is only slightly less gifted than Yinchi. To maintain his genius image, He works especially hard behind the scenes. But he's just a simp for that woman Kong Xingxing. He's been at odds with himself because of this. He even greeted him. He knows that although Song Yunxiu doesn't like cultivating and is greedy, she is very smart. She's a cunning fox like Dean Gu, knowing when to advance and retreat. Not like the idiot next to her. Do you deserve to sit here? Get the hell up. Sensing trouble, Song Yunxiu rushed forward and covered his mouth, apologizing quickly. Hearing this, Song Yunxiang didn't mind. Song Yunxiang wondered why that little loser was sitting in their father's seat. Although puzzled, he kept a calm and collected expression. But Song Yunrui, on the side, wasn't as perceptive. Seeing this, he shouted loudly, Song Yunxiang. Hearing this sentence, Song Yunqi's face instantly lit up with joy. At that moment, footsteps sounded from outside. The first two people to enter clasped their hands and greeted the elders in the room. Meanwhile, Song Yunxiu immediately noticed the dazzling afro at the front. When he saw the other person lean in again, Song Yunxiang also felt it was hard to refuse. Alright, I'll observe your performance these days. If you perform well, I don't mind giving you a push. With a graceful and swift movement, Song Yunqi came before Song Yunxiang. As he knelt down, a set of exquisite tea utensils was placed on the tray right after. Seeing the fireworks he created, the old man could only force a somewhat awkward smile while suppressing his anger. And just now, you were being rude and arrogant. Why aren't you hurrying up to pour tea and apologize to your brother Yunxiang? As soon as he said this, the old man, who was still savoring his tea, was stunned. Because the teaware in front of him was completely empty. Will people look down on her? Just as she hesitated, Madame Cheng, right across the way, had already begun her overtures. How could she tolerate that? He immediately looked at his son. Her heart was filled with turmoil. If she could secure a benefit for Yunjin and Yunqi with this shield, then sacrificing a little face as their mother is worth it. But she hasn't been very close to Yunxiang over the years, and if she suddenly acts overly affectionate now, this bottle of spirit elixir will raise Song Jia's core strength to another level. If I hadn't already experienced Yunxiang's pills, I might have lost my composure. Sigh, it seems this old man still needs to temper his mind more. At this moment, when Madam He heard about the pill's effects, it can raise a spirit king's level by one minor rank, but unfortunately, it only works the first time for each person. After hearing this, the old man, though I appear calm on the surface, internally, I am full of admiration. While everyone was filling in the blanks in their minds, Song Yunxiang didn't hold back. Correct answer. This is indeed a 5-star pill. The spiritual ascension pill has no side effects. I heard that the Hong Trading Guild recently gained the favor of a great alchemy master. A few days ago, they auctioned off a batch of 3-star pills, easily doubling their revenue. This influence, isn't it incredible? The value of the pill in the meditator's hand is probably beyond estimation. Is this what surprises you? 5-star pill. Could it really be a 5-star pill? Even the Wei Marquis household only has one. And it's been passed down for 400 years. Let alone them. Even the Song family probably can't bring out much from the royal family. Seeing everyone like this, the old man felt extremely pleased. You really are uninformed. And carefully asked the meditator about the pill in his hand. Could it be the legendary 5-star pill? After hearing this, the other two wives of the Emperor's spirit pill immediately turned pale. Because of this treasure. What kind of ammunition is this? Can you give me a pill to taste, brother? Seeing this scene, everyone could no longer bear to watch. At this moment, Zhao Lingyang suppressed her excited emotions. He immediately threw a love punch at him. You brat, what nonsense are you talking about? Get up. Hearing this, Song Yunqi decisively used his shameless tactic. My dear brother, you're giving in too quickly, aren't you? Forget calling me brother. If you want me to call you grandpa, that's up for discussion too. When he heard that, the old man couldn't hold back and cursed. Can I call you now? Song Yunqi instantly turned into a fanboy. He knelt down and called him brother over and over, shouting with great affection. Song Yunxiang felt a bit embarrassed by the scene. Cold sweat streamed down. What the hell is this? This is the aura of a breakthrough. At this moment, Song Yunxiang, who had already broken through to the mid-level of the earth stage, smiled slightly. So what now? Song Yunxiang no longer stayed modest. He immediately took out a pill and swallowed it. In the next second, a rumble echoed. A more majestic aura erupted from within. Song Yunqi felt it and, you're just at the early earth level now. Same as me, but I'm 2 years younger than you. So the top genius of the Song family is still me. Hearing this, you actually broke through to the earth realm. How about calling me bro to hear? No, I just said, you only have a level that exceeds mine. I only called you brother. The soul power belonging to the early stage of the next tier suddenly radiated out. Song Yunchi was taken aback. He was instantly confused. The aura of the earth realm. How is this possible? You want me to call you brother? Sure, as long as you can surpass me in cultivation. Hearing this, Song Yunxiang chuckled. He pulled out a chair and stood up. He looked down on others. But he is actually a good kid with a pure heart. In my last life, he protected the evacuation of the residents. Alone with a few young men, I failed to hold my ground. In the end, I fought until exhaustion and died. Aren't you supposed to call me bro? Song Yunchi is the only son of my uncle, Song Qin. He is an exceptionally talented young genius. Without putting in much effort, he broke through to the earth realm before the age of 16. This made him quite proud and arrogant. Hello, hello. Song Yunchi waved and greeted him. Seeing this scene, Song Yunxiang felt a bit helpless. So disrespectful. The old man waved his hand dismissively. It's fine, it's fine. It's just a home dinner to welcome Yunxiang. No need to confirm it like this. Oh, isn't this Xiangzai? What are you wearing? Didn't I tell you to go back and change into proper clothes? Song Yunchi explained with a grin that he had just gotten out of school. He hadn't had time to return to Beiyuan. He came straight here. Song Yunchi, 16 years old, is the son of his uncle Song Qing from the early stage of the contract. He is exceptionally talented, playful and energetic. Seeing the lady, he pretended to bathe. He scolded Chi Air. As for the conversation, let's leave it at that. Suddenly interrupted by a sound from outside. Oh, everyone has come quite early, huh? Upon hearing this, everyone looked up. They saw Song Yunchi entering the door with Song Tua, the head steward of the Song family's north courtyard. Your uncle leads the Iron Arm army stationed at the southern wilderness Great Wall, and can't leave easily. Nephew Yunxiang, please understand. However, Yun Jin did specially bring military supplies over. You young people can chat more easily together, can't you? They always put the collective interests and reputation of the Song family first. That aunt. Is uncle not coming tonight either? Madam, he smiled and replied. You know as well. All they see is profit. But fortunately, although they care about profit, they all have principles. Even when facing a dead end, Song Yunxiang breathed a sigh of relief. Second uncle Song Bo was in charge of managing all of the Song family's business affairs. He was a pragmatic person focused on results. He had always looked down on the former version of me who had no ambition. His wife also had a business-minded personality. Then he turned to the old man. He asked, isn't second uncle coming? Your second uncle has a dinner engagement. He's not coming. In that case, I won't be polite and will sit down. He was somewhat curious. This must be a pill of at least grade 3. Hearing this, Song Yunxiang smiled and responded. Zhao Yinyang couldn't be deceived. But it really is an elixir. The old man smiled and pointed to the most prominent seat on the right. Hearing this, he was about to sit down, but paused for a moment in surprise. Then he stood up and walked over. As he passed by Aunt Zhao, a rich fragrance of elixir wafted into his nose. Song Yunxiang noticed this. He quickly walked over to express his thanks. This Aunt Zhou had always been exceptionally kind to him, and she was sincere about it. Yunxiang, come sit over here. She used to be a maid in the east wing of the Song family. She was previously responsible for Song Lang's daily care. She was a little admirer of the third Madam Song, the youngest sister of the third generation of the Song family, the mother of Song Yunhua. Yunxiang, come sit over here. You seem to have grown taller again. How's the food at the Aviation Academy lately? Aunt Zhou warmly pulled out the chair next to her. She was also one of second uncle Song Bo's concubines. Hello, Grandpa. Hello, Aunt. Hello, second aunt. Greetings to the two aunts. They sent Yunxiang here. Finally, a smile appeared on the old man's face. My husband said he would find a way to end the socializing quickly, and call back earlier. Upon hearing this, the old man's expression softened a bit. At that moment, a voice came from outside. She is responsible for managing the medical-related matters in Song Bo's hands. She is also the mother of Song Yunzhao. This time it involves the Zhang family's struggle for the heir. They seem willing to pay a great price to secure our cooperation and support. I heard from my husband that it is an envoy sent by the Zhang family from Zhongzhou. I heard it involves a big deal. Sitting in the middle position on the right, Aunt Zhao quickly explained. She is one of the concubines of second uncle Song Bo. She comes from a family of medicine. Mr. Wen slammed the table in anger. He shouted loudly. What social engagement? Tell him to get his ass back here now. My lord, please calm down. Upon hearing the word social event, the old man's tone revealed a hint of fury. What social engagement? Who is he with? He didn't say. Madam Cheng furrowed her brows and replied. She said there was a social event tonight. The speaker was second aunt, Mrs. Cheng, the 40-year-old wife of second uncle Song Bo. She was from the Cheng family, one of the three major families in Tiandu, and also the mother of Song Yunxiu and Song Yunrui. The old man waved his hand, and continued to ask, "What about the second one, the woman on the right?" Explained after hearing that it was Father Song Bo. The 46-year-old Aunt Song Qing is the legitimate wife. She comes from a prominent family of the He family in Zhongzhou. She is also the mother of Song Yunjin and Song Yunqi. All right. Upon hearing this, he asked, "Is the eldest not coming?" "Not coming." The middle-aged woman beside him quickly replied that his son, Song Qing, said military affairs were busy. He couldn't get away and would come back when he had leave at the end of the month. She is the aunt and the lady of the house. A few people had already arrived here, seated in the main position. Naturally, it is the current head of the Song family, Old Master Song Jingzhong. He cleaned his beard. He looked to the left side of the table, hearing such sarcastic remarks. Song Yunjin snorted coldly. A hint of disgust flashed in her eyes. At the same time, in the guest hall of the outer courtyard, she is the eldest daughter of 26-year-old Uncle Song Qing. She is also the eldest sister of the third generation of the Song family. She has formed the Qiyuan army, composed entirely of women, and personally serves as the commander of the Qiyuan army. Cultivation at the early stage of earth level. His cultivation level is at the mid-stage of the profound realm. That is, the person Ma San secretly loves is Kong Xingxing. The elderly man standing respectfully behind him is Song Shui. He is the chief steward of Song Fushi Garden. The person dressed in red is Song Yunjin, a strategist with an excellent mind, because she doesn't enjoy cultivation. Her cultivation level is only at the early stage of profound mystique. The young man next to her, who bears some resemblance, is Song Yunrui. At 17, he is the son of second uncle Song Bo, with a teasing look on her face. Her name is Song Mingxiu, 24 years old, the eldest daughter of second uncle Song Bo. She is Song Yunxiang's second cousin. She is responsible for the Song family's external investments. You actually found time to leave your busy border defense duties, and come back for this plain, unremarkable family meal. Don't tell me you've spent all your budget again, and came home begging for food. The speaker lightly waves a feather fan. Before long, a red airship landed outside the hall. Immediately after, a woman in high-heeled boots stepped down from it. Seeing this, the few people at the entrance of the hall turned to look. Oh, isn't that big sister Yunjin? Whenever needed, he will definitely find a way to prioritize providing materials for you. After exchanging a few pleasantries, the two hung up the phone. And soon, it was evening. At this moment, the banquet hall of the Song family in the Marquis of Jian's residence was brightly lit. I'm also thinking of adding more shields or something. The colleague next to me froze when he heard that. During the call, Tang Jinshui started promoting right after hearing that Yao Lianqin passed away. He immediately began pitching. He said his wife's family runs a mining and metal materials business. Even if it can be assembled smoothly, the consumption of soul power would probably be hard to accept. After hearing the compliment from the other party, Manhwa Dengfeng felt quite pleased. It feels like there's still room for improvement. It seems quite impressive. Looking at the bizarre creature in front of her, Xiao Ye superficially complimented it. She eyes felt quite speechless. Isn't this just piling all the equipment together, while simultaneously having the destructive capabilities of artillery and splash damage, coupled with the mobility of an aerial strike backpack? It wouldn't be an exaggeration to call it the ultimate form of the Wei Yuan Shi. Once Master Song sees this, he will surely be willing to accept me as his apprentice. And I've prepared a big surprise for Master Song. With a chuckle, he began showing it. Didn't sleep a wink last night. I have been pondering over a work that can truly impress Master Song. It should possess the defensive power of heavy armor. Mr. Manhwa is leading us in rushing a batch of goods. As he finished speaking, he looked toward the two people in the hall. At that moment, Manhwa Dengfeng was seen introducing the mass production progress of enhanced rear vision guards to Secretary Xiaoye. As long as there are no supply issues, we'll definitely meet the delivery deadline with enough output. Meanwhile, in the construction and security area of the Dome City Martial Arts Institute, Tang Jinshui, who arrived in Yong'an City, called his former colleagues to check in, and asked how they were doing at the Martial Arts Institute. His colleagues replied, "We are extremely busy here." He disappeared from the spot. Meanwhile, Song Yunxiang looked at the afterglow of the setting sun. So many thoughts. It's almost dark. It's about time to return to the residence for tonight's dinner. I'm going to get rich. Thank you, young master. I'll go arrange it right away. With that, he jumped up, in a flash. But it still has the ability to conceal one's presence. It can give them more leverage. Upon hearing this, Ma Jinhua was overjoyed. Damn, this is a magical artifact. 200 shadow spells. Is that the invisibility technique you just used? When Yen explained to Song Yunxiang, the effect isn't that strong. It's a weakened version, I guess. There are 200 shadow spells here. Hand them over to the brothers stationed here. After saying this, he handed a storage card to the other person. Ma Jinhua took it. He was incredibly shocked inside. Before leaving, he glanced back once more. He vaguely sensed something strange about the ring. Then the two returned to the street. Arrange for people to keep an eye on them. These are all unverified rumors. Actually, we also have a secret report on the Kong family. I'll send someone to investigate right away. But Song Yunxiang said it's fine. We should retreat as well. Feeling somewhat nervous. I got some news earlier. It seems that Miss Kong has some private connections with Sun Xia. As soon as he mentioned this, he quickly waved his hand. Please don't be angry. She's on her way here. Just 2 blocks away. Hearing this, Song Yunxiang frowned slightly. How are you sure he came here? Ma Jinhua paused. He was distracted, and casually asked, which Miss Kong? Your fiancée, of course. Miss Kong Xin, the daughter of Lord Kong. But who is it now? Just as he was puzzled, a voice from beside him caught his attention. It was Ma Jinhua's voice. They said Miss Kong is on her way here. Wait, Song Yunxiang seems to have realized something. Suddenly, his expression changed dramatically. The soul power fluctuations emitted from the ring on his hand are the same as the Sun Xia I know. It's the same Sun, identical to this current vessel. This Sun Xia feels a bit different from the one he met later. No, this Sun Xia and the one I know have completely different soul energy fluctuations. Is almost extinguished. At this moment, on the rooftop, Song Yunxiang witnessed this scene, frowning, because he realized a faint wave of soul power emanated from the ring. Don't worry, as long as we work together, there will be no problem. I can feel Chao Ren's current ordinary person's life force. If I hadn't been lucky enough to meet you, I wouldn't have achieved success so quickly. Master Du, tell me, can I really become the new Soul General, Chao Ren's protege? As soon as he finished speaking, he couldn't help but feel a bit disappointed. Well, after all, I can't always be this lucky. But once these things are resold, another 100,000 Tiandu coins will come in. I really have to thank you, Master Du. The two of them slowly poked their heads out. Unaware of this, Su Xia was still feeling quite pleased. Are there any items among Du Lao's belongings that can help me quickly improve my cultivation? After hearing the reply that there weren't any, but also shielded soul power fluctuations, so they weren't noticed by others. Due to the distance being too far, they decided to quietly move closer, until the suitable position was found. He hurriedly ran out. In the distance, Song Yunxiang and Ma Jinhua were watching this scene. The invisibility formation on them not only distorted light and blocked sound. Let them come back for the money in a month. Dare to disobey, then keep them locked up for a month. After receiving the order, Ye Zai responded, shut the hell up. The sales channels are in my hands. I'm the boss here. My words are the decree. They are forced to stay. Bucktooth was sweating profusely after hearing that, but the boss and his group only got 30% of the cut. That includes the shipping costs and everything. Isn't that a bit too little? Patrol Chief Wen Yen had a smug expression on his face. You go talk it over with the monkey. According to our White Dragon Gang's rules, we're making up for his negligence. Driving is 70% of the job. Moreover, the transportation fees and tips are all to be covered by them. In fact, he was asking old Du inside the ring to help appraise which ones were valuable. After getting a response, he casually pointed out a few of them, indicating that these few are all trash. We'll take all the others, and neatly arranged the old items inside into 2 rows. Boss, no. Leader, you need to see what we've got. The monkeys are still waiting at the door. Hearing this, Sun silently stared at the old items for a while. What the hell? The boss shouted, Chief, like a bandit. CHCH Chief. The buck-toothed guy grinned. He hurriedly opened the bag in his hand. Boss. Boss, look at this big haul. The monkeys brought back quite a few treasures this time. Hearing that title, he suddenly sat up under the skirt. After confirming the destination, the airship accelerated into the city. Time quickly passed to the evening. At this moment, in the abandoned house number 13 on Dagu Alley in the northern part of the city, the little brother, Bucktooth, excitedly entered the yard with a bag of things. Don't forget the eldest wife that third madam arranged for him years ago. They say, if she's 3 years older, it's like holding gold. If she's 9 years older, even better. The conversation came to an abrupt halt. Song Yunxiang and his group were seen walking out of the cemetery. Then I had an idea. Hasn't Second Master's Yunrui always had a crush on Kong Xingxing? At worst, just transfer the engagement to Shi Yuan. Let that fool take over. Problem solved. And speaking of engagements, Xia Beijia turned to glance at the other person. Are you suggesting that the young master break the engagement? Such a treacherous act. The old marquis probably won't agree. Ma San's eyes rolled. Now that young Master Yunxiang has had a fortuitous encounter, his soul veins have not only recovered, and his cultivation level has greatly increased. There's no need to marry someone like that just for the Song family's concealment and self-restraint. After hearing this, Song Yunxiang, left with a few people. Meanwhile, at the Song family cemetery helipad, Ma San and Xia Beijia, who were waiting for the group to return, started chatting. Xia, I think that Kong Xinshin girl is no good. Divided into 4 factions. The main faction consists of tomb raiders. Looting is their primary source of income. This person is currently inside an abandoned house at number 13 Dog Street. Let's go and take a look. He reported the contents to Song Yunxiang. I found the following. A 19-year-old street thug from the slums of Yong'an City. He was once imprisoned for tomb raiding. Recently, he formed a gang called the White Dragon Gang. From this mask called, All Beings Are Without Form. It seems your parents are not ordinary people. But what secret did you all disappear with? At this moment, Ma Jinhua's watch received a message. After checking it, looking at her parents' gravestones, Song Yunxiang is filled with confusion. No trace of the accident was detected inside. It's just a grave of clothes and hats. Did the old man create this to mislead others? Song Mu hears this, and clears his throat, indicating not to speak carelessly. Ma Jinhua is startled, and quickly turns her head to the side. He cursed under his breath, damn it. Who is talking behind my back? Beside him, Ma Jinhua chuckled. Then she started to tease him. Maybe it's some girl who's thinking of you. No, at the same time. Inside the Song family's cemetery, Song Yunxiang, who was paying respects to his parents, suddenly sneezed for no apparent reason. He rubbed his nose. He felt a bit gloomy inside. It shouldn't be. I didn't expect that only that great person would know how to lower the star soul formation. Could it be that this ordinary male body has already been taken over by the master? Why not use the vessel I prepared for you? Is it really you back? Target S691 corresponds to Song Yunxiang. Upon hearing this, the great priest began to look up information on Song Yunxiang. When he saw the figure transformed into Lu Bu, he suddenly became confused, and respectfully knelt down. He called out, Great priest. The figure on the stage inquired how things were going with Suan Yang. The person below hurriedly reported, My lord, the elixir obtained from target S691 has been administered. The strange toxin affecting Suan Yang has been brought under control. Not long after, deep inside the headquarters in Taiyuan, a figure dressed in a black robe slowly walked into a giant door that stood 100 meters tall. In the spacious hall, even the sound of footsteps was unusually clear. He then walked up to the high platform. Upon learning that the master could be saved, the two who were watching nearby were also very happy. However, at the same time, Asen was filled with doubts. Is this just a coincidence? Song Yunxiang, who exactly are you? After confirming it was correct, he hurriedly handed the elixir to his colleague, to analyze it with the instrument. After analysis, it was found that the unit structure of the elixir closely matched the structure of the toxin. This also proved that the elixir could neutralize the toxin in Suanyang's body. Then, they began sorting through them. Among them were not only rejuvenation pills for healing, but also pills for enhancing combat abilities. Moments later, he picked up a bottle of white pills and examined it closely. He then brought it close to his nose and sniffed it. She quickly took out that card. With a swoosh, dozens of bottles of elixirs, each a different color, appeared on the hospital bed. The two medical staff were astonished at the sight. They didn't expect there to be so many elixirs. Upon hearing this, C.I. Asen's mind conjured the image of Song Yunxiang. At that time, he had given her a storage card, and said she would definitely use it. Thinking of this, Asen's eyes suddenly widened. Are you saying an alchemist might be able to decipher it for master? The medical staff nodded after hearing this. However, unfortunately, alchemy on the eastern continent has developed too slowly. The current alchemists' elixirs are simply not efficient enough. This seems to be a new type of toxin born in this era. No corresponding antidote can be retrieved from the Taiyuan knowledge base. The toxin structure is chemically bonded using soul power. I think this seems like a technique from the alchemist lineage. Hearing the word alchemist. But all have failed. Currently, the only way to stop the toxin from invading the brain is through filtration techniques. But even so, there may not be much time left for attempts. Please look here. What kind of poison affects the two meridians? Could it be that even with Taiyuan's expertise, we can't produce an antidote? The medical staff paused for a moment after hearing this. The answer is regrettable. We have already attempted the formulation 12 times. He couldn't help but ask. A nearby medical staff member came over to explain. Elder Suo was caught in an ambush set by the Myron people. Although the external injuries are no longer serious, a strange toxin is eroding the elder's soul. So Anyang forced a smile on her face. Ashan looked at her master's haggard face, feeling a deep pain in her heart. Master, have you been poisoned? Noticing the black lines on her arm, the woman on the bed, upon hearing the voice, slowly opened her eyes. And she is So Anyang, a powerful expert in the early stages of the heavenly realm. She is also the ace assassin of the Taiyuan organization. Looking at her disciple who has returned safely, at this moment, inside the infirmary, a dying woman was quietly lying on the bed. The medical staff nearby were still frantically busy, when Master Ah-san arrived. He called out worriedly, but fell into the ambush of the Mi-Luan scoundrels. What? Upon hearing this, Ah-san froze on the spot, in disbelief. The two, realizing what had happened, hurried to their master's location, and she was Ah-san's junior sister. Seeing him crying bitterly, Ah-san hurriedly asked what had happened. Si-nan calmed down a bit and then spoke. Master. He saved me. He felt much more at ease. Then he quickly walked towards the base. Just as he turned the corner, a girl rushed into his arms, crying. The girl's name was Si-nan. The building hidden behind the waterfall was the secret base of the Taiyuan organization. Upon arriving at the base, Ah-san also removed the weapons from his body. Looking at the familiar buildings, he contacted headquarters number 896289, requesting access to Shuka. Moments later, a prompt indicating successful verification sounded in his ear, so he didn't linger any longer. He immediately piloted the airship into the waterfall ahead. Meanwhile, in a mysterious mountain range, a red airship flashed by in an instant. The pilot of the airship was none other than Asa, who had vanished from Chengdu. After arriving at a certain location, I want to see for myself. This young marquis of the Song family, after recruiting a few followers, Song Yunxiang, led them to the cemetery, to pay respects to his parents, and someone who can casually refine 6-star pills. He naturally holds great importance. Song Yunxiang, he's indeed interesting. Hong Fong, make arrangements for me soon. Then the Hong family's direct heir, Hong Yuxiao. Although she was only 21, she was already in charge of all Hong commerce's business in Nanzhou. At this moment, Hong Yuxiao was intently reviewing Song Yunxiang's file. As a major client of our family, the call was immediately hung up. Hong Fong entered a lavishly decorated office. He stepped forward, and respectfully bowed to the girl seated in the chair. This girl was none other, because there were many herbs on it, that they had never even heard of. However, they happened to be at the headquarters Chamber of Commerce in Nanzhou, and they could consult the local elixir experts later. After confirming the response time, Ma-san chuckled and said, "Don't you think young Master Yunxiang seems very different this time?" After that, the two of them curiously sneaked a glance toward the back. At this moment, Song Yunxiang was purchasing medicinal herbs from Hong Fong, the shopkeeper of the Hong Trading Company. After receiving the other party's purchase list, the red team's face showed a hint of embarrassment. And shortly after, an African vehicle randomly passed by the Song family estate. In the driver's seat, Xia Beija, the driver, was puzzled. Why did the guard, Ma-san, also have to come along? We're going to the Song family cemetery. Oh right, Group 2 is in charge of intelligence, correct? Go investigate someone for me. Order received. Everyone immediately sprang into action. The two were overjoyed. They immediately knelt down to show their loyalty. Seeing the young master winning people's hearts like this, Song Mu couldn't help but feel gratified. Uncle Damu, arrange the carriage. I must choose trustworthy individuals, to help them improve their skills, perform well. Your time will come too. Hearing this, seeing this scene, Song Yunxiang revealed a slight smile. He said it's just a mere 5-star pill. He has plenty of them. Now is the time when I need people. Gao Daigan and Ma Jinhua's hearts were in turmoil, like raging waves. Similarly, Xing Dai also showed a look of disbelief, because something this precious, even in the royal heaven capital, would likely be considered priceless, because they recognized that this was a 5-star pill worth over $1 million. The star pill, Earth Spirit pill, can enhance a small realm, without any side effects. However, it's only effective the first time you take it. What? It can enhance a small realm. After saying that, he took out a pill from the storage card, and placed it in the other person's hand. Upon seeing the pill, not only was the Qing dynasty shocked, but even the well-informed Song Mu was instantly suspicious. I am quite satisfied. It's not easy to have silently protected for so many years. You've worked hard. Thank you for your effort. This pill is a small reward. Upon receiving the order, Qing Dai immediately came before Song Yunxiang. He knelt down with a thud. Shadow Guard Group 3, number 28. Undercover Qing Dai greets the master. Seeing this, Song Yunxiang Is he also listening to my orders now? The other party replied in classical Chinese. Of course, Qing Dai. Come here and greet young Master Yunxiang again. Young Master Yunxiang is now the sole master of the Shadow Guards. Hearing this, Song Mu let out a sigh of relief. He respectfully replied, yes. The few of them then walked out of the room. Song Yunxiang glanced at Qing Dai. Then he turned to look at Song Mu again. Fine, don't say anything. I won't make it hard for you. How about this, let's go to the Song family's cemetery. I'll pay my respects to them. Uncle Damu, please arrange this. It seemed inconvenient for him to speak. Seeing his expression, Song Yunxiang felt a bit relieved, because in his impression from the previous life, they all avoided talking about their parents' matters. He asked, you should know about my parents' situation 16 years ago, right? Song Mu heard this, and cold sweat immediately appeared on his forehead. He stammered, as if it was difficult to say. And they have long been forgotten. Could it be that I overlooked something? At this thought, Song Yunxiang vaguely sensed that things weren't so simple. Then he turned to look at Song Mu. After wandering around, tired of running for life, no longer caring about anything, decades of life and death struggles, time has passed, that they died in an accident. I was only 2 years old when it happened, so I have no memory of my mother at all. At the time, I was reckless and carefree, so I didn't care about it. He really couldn't understand what kind of background his mother, whom he had no memory of, might have. I recall the old man saying, they disappeared 16 years ago. It was officially announced. We are both nameless orphans. If it weren't for our fortunate encounter with Lady San, we would have probably starved to death in the slums outside. Hearing the words ancient civilization, Song Yunxiang frowned slightly. That is, your mother named them. Yes, Madame San said that my name is that of a hero from a story in an ancient civilization. Mine is even more impressive. It was named by Madame San. It is said to be the name of a legendary demon from an ancient civilization. Song Yunxiang, upon hearing their full names, it suddenly became quite awkward. Your names are quite interesting. Young master, be cautious with your words. They are all orphans. Their names were given by Madame San. Song Yunxiang was a bit dumbfounded after hearing that. Subordinate Gao Gaiga greets young master Yunxiang. Subordinate Ma Jinhua greets young master Yunxiang. After speaking, the two of them knelt down with a thud. From now on, you are the master of all hidden guards. This is Aga, the leader of the first Shadow Guard group, Ajin. It's the leader of Shadow Guard Team 2, Ajin. What kind of weird name is that? The three groups are responsible for guarding. Each performs its duties. They do not oversee each other. The old master has just issued an order. From now on, all hidden guards of the Song residence will obey your commands. Song Yunxiang recalled the group of people who risked their lives in the previous life to get him out of Jiuan City. Song Mu paused for a moment, and continued to talk about the Song family's secret guards. The first squad handles operations. The second squad handles intelligence. Song Mu answered, yes. This was supposed to be kept a secret from you. He's a top-tier expert from the third squad of the Song family's secret guards. Technically, he's my subordinate. Hearing the words, secret guards. Yes, please follow me to the study for a detailed discussion. Then, several people headed straight to the study. Song Yunxiang got straight to the point. He asked directly, Uncle Damu, that person from the Qing dynasty was arranged by the old master, right? Song Yunxiang quickly gestured to stop him, indicating there's no need to say anything unnecessary. You get it, what's up Uncle Damu? Looking for me? Hearing this, Song Mu replied. Song Yunxiang interrupted him. Alright. Uncle Damu, you've said that 1,000 times today. Qing Dai realized the other person was really Yunxiang. The young master quickly wanted to apologize. Song Mu awkwardly cleared his throat a few times. He reminded, young master, tonight is the family banquet at the Song residence. Your fiancé, Kong Xingxing, will also be attending. Just as he said this, at that moment, Song Mu hurried into the room with two young men. Seeing their position, he gave them a thumbs up in admiration. Damn, the young master sure knows how to have fun. No wonder he's my role model. He heard footsteps approaching. Song Yunxiang thought, this is bad. He quickly imagined his original appearance. But luckily, before he was discovered, he managed to change back just in time. Imagining what I look like allows me to freely transform. No wonder it showed its true form earlier. That was my true perception of myself. Although the commotion inside wasn't loud, it was still noticed by those outside. Moments later, he heard a swish. He turned into a maid who was treated lightly. At this moment, the two still maintained their previous positions. Hee, just as expected. You were the one who got all flustered first. Then he thought of the 4 words appearing on the back of the mask. Appearance is born from the heart. Could it be that he can change his appearance according to his thoughts? After thinking this far, he decided to give it a try. He immediately covered Qingdai's mouth and nose. He glanced at the ambiguous posture in the mirror, feeling a bit embarrassed. Shoo, don't shout, it's not my fault, okay? They all said to calm down. In an instant, he restrained her movement with lightning speed. Qingdai knew he was no match. He intended to shout to draw the attention of the guards outside the courtyard. But before he could open his mouth, Song Yunxiang noticed it. Where is young Master Yunxiang? Hearing this, Song Yunxiang hurriedly stepped forward to explain. But who would have thought, Qingdai suddenly thrust her sword straight at him. Fortunately, Song Yunxiang had vast combat experience. At this moment, the Qing dynasty figure happened to walk in. Upon seeing Song Yunxiang's appearance, he was instantly shocked. Realizing what was happening, he quickly drew his weapon. He immediately looked at the other person cautiously and asked, "Who are you?" It can be clearly seen outside. He looks into the mirror. He finds that he has transformed into his appearance 60 years later. What the hell is going on? I've revealed my true form. On the back, it said, form arises from the heart. Strangely enough, there were no holes for the eyes or nostrils in the mask. Out of curiosity, Song Yunxiang put it on, only to realize, even without openings, the craftsmanship was quite delicate, but he had no idea what it was for. Then he picked up the mask again, but just as he touched it, four large characters suddenly appeared on the mask, all beings are without form. In his previous life, he had heard of these words when he entered the Xuanjia rank. It said that many secret, unrecorded battle achievements in the Xuanjia rank are related to the star-treading gate, but these three words seem to be forbidden in the Xuanjia rank. No one dares to mention them. Then he looked toward the residence. The wooden box popped open. Upon seeing what was inside, he couldn't help but be greatly shocked. Inside were a jade lock and a mask. There was also a token with the words Star-Treading Gate written on it. Beneath the star network, all are chessboards. What exactly does this sentence imply? Moments later, the system emitted a prompt indicating decryption was complete. After he entered a string of numbers as instructed, the system was directly shut down. During the waiting time, he recalled the last words of the old man: humans cannot violate the laws of time. Time cannot be traversed, but the chessboard can be reset. Although the material looked ordinary, there was a level 3 encryption array on it. Only by entering the correct password could it be opened. Unfortunately, the old man didn't tell him. He had no choice but to summon the Star Master, respectfully left the room. As the bedroom door closed, Song Yunxiang finally breathed a sigh of relief. He looked at the wooden box his mother had left for him, feeling very curious. He said he had already suspected something was off about that person. After making the arrangements, Song Yunxiang dismissed the group. He said he needed to rest. The four of them left upon hearing that. He suddenly remembers something, so he quietly arranges a task for Zissou. Tell him to keep an eye on that trainee maid named Su Wen, but make sure it's safe. Zissou quickly agreed. The extravagant life of the young master is on full display. Several maidservants attend to him meticulously. Not only does he not need to take off his clothes himself, but even the tea is handed to him immediately. While drinking tea, all personnel and resources of the Song family are at Song Yunxiang's disposal, and all of his orders are to be regarded as the master's commands. No need to ask for instructions. Execute immediately. The scene returns to Song Yunxiang. Could it be that the old man arranged for him to secretly protect me? Meanwhile, after he left, the old master had Song Mo make the arrangements. From now on, as Song Yunxiang looked at him, he also started thinking to himself, early Earth level, this Qingdai is certainly not simple. From what I remember, he appeared by my side very early on. Headmaid Qingdai had a look of disbelief on her face. Young Master Yunxiang really accomplished it in less than a year. He broke through from the imperial rank to the Earth level. It's truly unbelievable. Look at me, look at me. Even the maid inside the house rushed out when she heard the voice. Seeing that it was indeed young Master Yunxiang, she immediately waved and greeted him. Two other maids also came out to greet him, to conceal their realm and appear as an ordinary person. Is it another lurking Maluan person? Before he could continue to ponder, he was interrupted by Zissou. How can this washboard figure compare to my looks? And her work was just average. Sensing something unusual, Song Yunxiang had the new master system scan her. Sure enough, it was found out that the other party was at the mid-level of the yellow stage. They had implanted a small device in their body. However, another unfamiliar maid caught his attention. Zissou introduced her, saying her name was Suwen. She had just been transferred from the outer courtyard a few days ago. 0 points for her figure. Her looks were so-so. Soon after, he returned to his residence. The maid Zissou saw him, and happily rushed over, looking at him with tears and snot. Song Yunxiang pushed him away with disdain. The system is redrawing its appearance. Reconstructing the plan. Calculation completed. Beginning to draw the missing data. Remaining time, 33 days. With that, he took out some pills to ease physical pain and left. Once he got into the elevator, he eagerly asked what caused the system data error. Ding, unknown reasons have corrupted the new soul's data, marking the damaged area. What? Are you saying there's a way for the half of my body I lost to grow back? That's right, but we'll talk about that later. Time is precious right now. I'll go look for the materials to extend life. Let's talk later. The two elders quickly asked what happened. It's nothing. I think it's because the third elder's physical body is incomplete, so it's affecting the two vital channels of his heart and soul. I'll go gather the materials to refine the life order pill first. After that, I'll slowly find a way to regenerate the right half of your body. Warning, an error has occurred. System detected an error in 7% of Star Soul General's host data, correcting the erroneous data portion. Song Yunxiang heard this. His expression changed slightly. The system has detected that the host has come into contact with the Star Soul, and is currently reading the data holder. Data reading completed. Star Soul General is starting to copy the host. Copy completed. In that great battle back then, I lost my right side. I nearly lost my life. That's why I faked my death, and have been hiding underground in the Song family. Let me first do a thorough checkup on the third grandfather. Third grandfather, let me take your pulse first. Upon hearing this, he extended his left hand. This one on the right is a bionic prosthetic. From this moment on, Yunxiang, in the Song family, you have the same rights as the head of the house. All resources, both human and material, are at your disposal. Please, you must find a way to create a life-prolonging pill for my third uncle. Sir, don't worry. What 8-star pill, the Tianling pill? It's a special gift prepared for the old master. Why not take it now? The old master took the pill, trembling with excitement. A golden, swirling elixir appeared before the two of them. It's the 8-star elixir, the heavenly spirit pill, that I refined on my way here. It can enhance one's cultivation by a small realm in the heavenly realm, but it is only effective the first time it is taken. That's right, the others are a bit forced. But I am confident about the 7-star elixir, the life-prolonging pill. Seeing that the other party didn't believe him, he took out a storage card. With a whoosh, coincidentally, these 3 life-extending elixirs. I happen to know how to refine it. Why can you make elixirs? The old man immediately stepped forward excitedly and grabbed him. Song Yunxiang replied. Hearing this, Song Yunxiang began to ponder. 7-star elixir can increase the number of years by 3 to 5 years. 8 stars can add 5 to 10 years. The 9-star elixir immortality pill is said to increase your life by more than 30 years. I once read in a document that there are elixirs in the southern continent that can extend one's lifespan. If we can obtain one, the Song family would spare no expense, no matter the cost. Extend lifespan. Chao Ren will recondense his soul, to seek the next untrained vessel. Perhaps the young man you just mentioned is the next one. The old man was extremely frustrated. Damn it, is there really no cure? This doesn't quite match with my past experience. In his memory, the untrained soul descending into Chao Ren was a young man named Sun Xiao. The third elder sighed helplessly. If my life force runs out, Yunxiang, listen up. I, Song Bingchuan, was once one of the 8 generals of Lietian City. A disciple of Star Soul General Chao Ren. Wait, Song Yunxiang. Something's odd. So, some secrets. It's time for third great-grandfather to hear this. He interrupted him. Got it. I'll say it myself. The old man comforted him. Whether third uncle saw the real future in adversity, or it was just an illusion in the formation, it's better to believe it's real. I think we should still prepare in advance. Did the Song family survive? He didn't hide the truth. He answered that they were almost wiped out. Upon hearing this, both of them couldn't help but gasp. Not only has his soul vein been repaired, but his strength has also made tremendous progress. Moreover, it said that he gained opportunities in a certain secret realm. He saw the devastation a month later, when the southern wilderness was flooded, swallowing Yangon City. Is this the future of an ultra-ancient civilization? In the future that Yunxiang saw, he truly is the son of those two. Ah Zhong, you brought this kid to see me. Are you planning to cultivate him intensively? The old man indicates. That's right, Yunxiang has had an extraordinary experience outside. As the beast essence is about to be exhausted, this body is like a deflated ball. The holy tier soul power is uncontrollably leaking out. That kid Yunxiang surprisingly wasn't injured by the fluctuations. It's quite impressive. Meanwhile, Song Yunxiang struggled to regain his strength. It also steadily landed back on the ground, until the fluctuations dissipated. Only then did they dare to approach. Sorry, I couldn't control it just now, but then started coughing violently again. With a bang, a wave of golden pressure suddenly swept toward the two of them. The old man realized what was happening, and quickly acted to block it. Yunxiang, this is my third uncle. You should call him third great uncle. After hearing this, Song Yunxiang, he stepped forward and bowed. The third great uncle was about to speak. I can feel it. My time is almost up. I'm afraid I have less than a month left. Who's this kid? Wen Yan quickly introduced him. They pushed the door open. What came into view was an elderly man on the verge of death. The old man walked over and gently called out, "Third uncle." At this moment, the old man also slowly opened his eyes. When the elevator doors opened, they realized there was an entire space below on its own. There is not only artificial lighting, but also a formation that isolates the fluctuations of soul energy. The four quickly arrived outside a secret room. He immediately rushed out the door. "Lin Xiang, you're my classmate too." Then, the four of them sprinted towards a certain place. They entered the elevator leading to an underground chamber. The elevator descended several hundred meters underground. The two felt it, and their expressions changed dramatically. It was that same weak saint-tier aura from before. Before he could react, the old man suddenly shouted, "Something's wrong. Who is he really?" Song Yunxiang was shocked when he heard it. A blurry image of his mother appeared in his mind. The old man wanted to say something more. At that moment, a golden ripple suddenly came from outside. "The Taoist entrusted this box to you, and he also said that the law of time cannot be defied by human power. Under the star net, everything is part of the game." Ah, he actually knows about the star net. Or your soul veins might heal on their own, or even claim that you came from another time and space. He advised me as a Taoist not to be surprised by this. No matter what you say, I will believe you. When Song Yunxiang asks in confusion, "What is this?" The old man answers, "It's something your mother left behind. Everything I know comes from him. He once predicted that one day you might suddenly become incredibly powerful. He entrusted him, saying that the Star Master system is of great importance. You absolutely must not reveal it to anyone else. The ruse of Zhua Ci is quite clever. Just demonstrate in the guise of Zhua Ci the commoner. Now it's time to hand some things over to you." Surprised, but instead muttered softly, "Damn, 60 years. It's strange he hasn't told me for so long. I'm afraid he didn't expect that this kid could last for 60 years before dying." Then he glanced at Song Yunxiang. "After the final self-destruction of the last human stronghold on the northern continent, I woke up. Doesn't that sound unbelievable?" Hearing these words, the old man wasn't too. At this moment, the chief steward of the Song Manor suddenly arrived. He had urgent news to report to the master, but Song Mu blocked him, saying there was a key inside as well. Song Yunxiang, who was playing in the house, was nearing the end of his story. Later, Milun invaded Tiandu for the decisive battle. Later, he fled to the kingdom of Brookwater, and was protected by the empress. He briefly recounted his years of wandering in exile. An hour passed quickly. Not long after, an unprecedented tide erupted in the southern wilderness. The southern wilderness Great Wall was destroyed. The Song family's soldiers were all annihilated. Ferocious beasts engulfed Yongnan City. They continued advancing northward. Song Yunxiang knows that if he directly reveals he's been reborn from 60 years ago, it would probably be too shocking. So it can be explained as stumbling into a certain secret realm. In the secret realm, great opportunities were gained. At this moment, the scene returns to the courtyard of the Song family. Song Yunxiang asks in confusion what the old man's comment about jumping out of the game means. The old man chuckles. He doesn't continue the topic. He simply asks what Song has been doing during this time. A strong man's fists are reason enough. If that old bastard Song Jingzhong dares to make a move, I wouldn't mind wiping them out along the way. The Song family is showing you a treasure. This is a 3-star pill called Zhuanggong pill that I got from the Hong Clan's trading company at a high price. An insider went to the Song family to cancel the engagement. Kong Fan quickly stopped him and asked, "There must be a proper reason, right?" "Reason? What reason? I am now a heaven-tier expert who looks down on the world." Kong Xingxin felt shy. He blushed and said it was no problem. The deed was already done. When Yen Kongjing slapped the table, he was overjoyed. "If we let him marry into our Kong family, we will pour resources into nurturing him." Kongjing said this, and looked at his granddaughter. "Ask him if he is confident enough to let Sun marry into the family." But even returning to the Kong family in Zhongzhou and reclaiming their ancestral heritage wouldn't be impossible. Now that I have broken through to the celestial realm, the Song family is now on equal footing with us. Lianyun is just icing on the cake. That Xuanxia is an orphan. He thought his granddaughter and that young man named Sun Xia were a perfect match. because his only granddaughter was Kong Xingxing. Marrying into the Song family would only guarantee a few decades of carefree life. But if they could bring in a talented man like Chao Rensu as a grandson-in-law, not only would it ensure wealth for a century, they saw a familiar figure floating in midair. It was Kong Fan's father, Kong Zheng. He had just broken through to the early stage of the heavenly tier, barely managed to borrow momentum to step in midair. Then, a few of them returned to the house. Seeing his daughter so stubborn, Kong Fan originally wanted to scold her again. But at that moment, a voice came from outside. If you don't want to marry, then don't marry. It's just a mere delivery. The two of them immediately ran to the balcony. Who says he has no future? He's now the leader of the White Dragon Gang, and he quietly told me that he'll soon become the new Seoul General Chao Ren's apprentice, in less than a month. But Kong Xinxin is now unwilling to get married, even knowing that Song Yunxiang is no longer the useless person he once was. But in his eyes, he still can't compare to his brother Xuanxia. What future can a street orphan like him have? Meanwhile, on the other side, a heated argument erupted in the Lord's residence of Yong'an City. Lord Kong Fan was at his wit's end facing his daughter. 20 years ago, the two families arranged this marriage, and all the other pieces on the board follow the replay as well. But what if one piece accidentally jumps off the board, and becomes the player? Song Yunxiang was struck like lightning upon hearing this. Is this piece referring to myself? Song Yunxiang didn't dwell too much on the idea of reviewing. You see, my most critical mistake just now was making this wrong move. This time, I won't make this move. I won't go that way. You see, a lost game can be replayed. Close the door properly. Song Mu acknowledged and left. The two of them then tidied up the chessboard. Losing doesn't matter. Let's review the game we just played. However, he didn't seem upset at all. In fact, he was quite pleased. The outcome was already decided. I've lost. Song Mu, you may leave. Once they got inside, the two started a game of Go. As the stones continued to be placed, the direction of the game gradually became clear. Even though Song Yunxiang was playing at only 30% of his skill, the old man was no match for him. The less useful my current cards are. Damn, there's no other way. I can only let them all become holy. Thinking this, Song Yunxiang followed the old man into the study. Although it's already extremely faint, like withering bamboo in the wind, it can't be wrong. Absolutely a holy rank. Could it be that Song Jia is hiding another holy rank? This is bad. The more hidden cards Song Jia has. Wow, I didn't expect Song Jia to still have so many hidden cards. If the Song family has a half-saint and 3 mid-tier heaven realm experts holding the fort, and they were still wiped out in the southern wilderness longevity dynasty in my past life, doesn't that mean my current preparations aren't enough to turn the tide? Wait, is this the aura of a saint realm? On the surface, the old master is in the early heaven rank. But in reality, he's just a hair's breadth from the saint rank. His strength is likely above Elder Su's. In his past life, he was weak, unable to perceive their true cultivation level. Song Yunxiang responded and followed him. But after sensing the old master's level, his heart was stirred like a raging storm. Peak of the heaven rank. No, he's a half-saint. Then, in a flash, he appeared next to Song Yunxiang. He praised him, saying, not bad. Come, let's go to the study and talk. Tell me properly about your time away this year. No, the things that happened during this time. I noticed it. Young master not only repaired his damaged soul vein. Just now, he also seemed to try to probe my true realm. Then the two of them arrived in front of the head of the Song family, old master Song Jingzhong. The old master looked at him and smiled with satisfaction. I didn't expect it to be another mid-stage of the celestial realm. Watching the two enter the mansion's main gate, Xia Beija quietly transmitted a message to Ma San. Did you notice? Young master has broken through to the earth stage. Did you bring back a wife for the old marquis? Hearing Ma San's teasing, Song Mingxiang chuckled awkwardly, but when he grabbed the other's hand, he suddenly froze. Hearing this, he awkwardly put the note away. The pace in Africa is quick. Half an hour later, they arrived at the eastern courtyard of the Song family in the Marquis of Joan's mansion. The guard Ma San, along with a few of his men, immediately formed ranks to welcome them. So, how was your time at Jiwu Academy this past year? Did you have fun? On the way to the car, he opened the note Lin Jinghua gave him. It said, Yong'an, 9th floor, penthouse. Song Mu, sitting beside him, saw this and cleared his throat lightly. He reminded him again about the fiancé. He carefully observed him for a few moments. Only then did he realize that, like Song Mu, Xia Beija also possessed the cultivation level of a heaven-tier expert. Though even upon realizing this, he remained calm and composed. Then the two arrived at the helipad behind the airport in Yong'an City. The Song family's personal driver, Xia Beija, had been waiting here for quite some time. Upon seeing this, Song Yunxiang hurriedly stepped forward to greet him. After responding, Xia Beijia respectfully stood up and invited him to get in the car. At this moment, Song Yunxiang didn't speak. He remembered escaping from the desert of death in his previous life. As soon as he returned to Yongnan City, he brought the heavenly tier expert from the Kong family to annul the engagement. And there were also his uncles and brothers who regarded him as a waste. I'm back. There's a family dinner arranged by Master tonight. And your fiancée, Miss Kong Xin, has also been invited. Hearing this name, a glimmer of cold light flashed in Song Yunxiang's eyes. Please come here to find him. He had a long conversation with the young master at Jinghuayuan. After finishing, without waiting for Song Yunxiang's reply, he left without looking back. Song Mu awkwardly coughed twice behind him. Young Master Yunxiang. Song Yunxiang was suddenly called and turned around. He saw Lin Jinghua quickly approaching. She handed over a note, and informed him that she would stay in Yongnan City for half a month. If he had time, then the few of them introduced themselves to each other. Naturally, some people from Shandai's group also came over to welcome them. After saying goodbye, they left the place. Just as they were leaving, in reality, he is actually at the mid-stage of the celestial realm. In his previous life, he was too weak. He thought that the entire Song family only had the old master at the celestial realm. He never expected that the person who had cared for him like a nanny since childhood actually had a cultivation level even higher than the old master. Song Yunxiang also met with his steward, Song Mu. He happily went over and embraced him. Only after a close inspection did he realize Song Mu had suppressed his cultivation level. On the surface, he is only at the late stage of the profound realm. To the east, it borders the Shishui kingdom. To the west lie the Nanhuang mountains. This is the critical gateway between the central plains and the Nanhuang region. It's also a vital military stronghold for defending against coastal attacks. Not long after, the ship docked at Yongqing Airport. A response came from the ring. Soon. That is your destiny, and mine as well. Yongnan City is located in the southeastern corner of the Tiandu Kingdom. I will become the strongest Star Soul Master. The next era will be the era of Xuanxia, the Genius Lord. Isn't that right? Elder Du, when can I finally get the Star Soul to subdue Chao Ren? Just as he finished speaking, several subordinates stood respectfully nearby. He looked upward, with a hint of a smug smile. Remember this, all of you. I, Xuanxia, am destined to rank among the 8 generals of Tiandu. It wasn't until 4 hours later that he finally woke up. By then, the ship had already reached the outskirts of Yongnan City. At the same time, a young man in the city stretched lazily. The moment the captains received the signal, they didn't dare to hesitate, immediately activated the jet engine, and vanished in an instant. Meanwhile, Song Yunxiang fainted due to exhaustion of both physical and soul energy. Meanwhile, Song Yunxiang was protecting the people around him, while silently counting the time in his heart. 3:21, it's now. Power source activated. Escape at full speed toward the 3 o'clock position. Then, at Song Yunxiang's command, the 3 ships shut down all power. They suddenly plunged downward. The people inside the cabin, under the force of gravity, swaying up and down constantly, but it was the only chance to survive. He once saw a Kun inhale half a city in one breath. Song Mu didn't hesitate much. He immediately gave the order. At the same time, the captain of the merchant ship was somewhat shocked to hear this, because this is 33,000 zhang above the ground. Any slight mistake, and everyone will be smashed to pieces. Song Yunxiang knew this as well. Let them descend. The moment we leave Kun's alert range, I will notify you immediately. Activate all power. Full speed to leave this airspace. So, all ships below, listen to my command. Shut down all power sources. Disarm all Star Soul general constructs. Keep the ships in freefall. As long as we do not show hostility, we are just small insects like dust in its eyes. It won't bother to specifically come after us. But if it gets stung by a small insect, that would probably be a different story. She was instantly stunned. There was no time for greetings. Song Yunxiang hurriedly continued, this is the peak beast of the divine realm, Kun. It is definitely not an enemy we can confront at the moment. However, according to its nature, not understanding why, members of the Song family's Chilwan army, please listen to me. I am Song Yunxiang. When Song Yunjin saw it was him, just as they were about to fire, the screen suddenly came to life. It was Song Yunxiang's voice saying, stop, do not fire. The two were startled by what they heard, and struggled to stand up. All ships, listen up. Prepare the cannons to target the beast above. 2 ships received the command. They immediately began to act. A serious look flashed in Su Mu's eyes. If it happens again, he might find it hard to continue. He needs to find a way to interrupt him while he inhales. Song Yunjin heard this. Isn't even enough to fill the teeth gap of the Kun in front of them. Then it simply let out a normal roar, as if disdainfully looking down on a wild eagle. Ordinary people in the formation bleed from their 7 orifices. Even the barrier of the mastery of the heavenly stare can only barely hold up. Cold sweat broke out in an instant from shock, because he recognized that this was the ancient beast Kun from the divine realm. The moment the ancient divine beast Shao Kun appeared, everyone was terrified to the point of almost wetting themselves, because this airship, which can carry tens of thousands of people, slowly extended its head. In the blink of an eye, its entire body was revealed. To this beast, the surrounding space wasn't even enough to fill the gaps between its teeth, and when Song Yunxiang saw this scene, what? He was shocked after hearing this. He immediately looked up. At this moment, a rift nearly 1,000 miles long suddenly appeared in the sky. Inside the rift, a massive beast. Seeing this, Song Yunxiang felt relieved. He prepared to go down and rest. But at that moment, the system issued another warning. Detected excessive level fissure reaction. Please leave the area immediately within 5 seconds. Soon, the spaceship safely entered the protection zone above the Tuzhenkong ships, the place where it hovered. They still wanted to continue attacking, but at Song Yunjin's command, the dense firepower instantly turned the surrounding beasts into scraps. Song Muwen, standing nearby, said nothing. I thought to myself, the strong person you will come to know is the young master Yunxiang, whom you regard as useless. I'm afraid you'll be even more shocked. He's actually on this ship too. It seems that although our young marquis is a bit useless, his luck has always been quite good. If it weren't for that warrior, they probably wouldn't have lasted until we arrived. Song Yunxiang observed the shape of the warships in the distance, and realized it was the all-female army established by his elder sister, Song Yunjin. At this moment, Song Yunjin had not recognized him yet. They were shocked to see the Lu Bumek. That's the warrior who saved the second prince in Dome City. Captain Wenyan was overjoyed. He quickly issued the order. Transfer all energy to the power furnace. Full speed ahead. Join up with the Chiyuan Army's warships. Tiger Strike team arriving to support. The screens in the command room flickered a few times, and then a woman's voice was heard. The Chiyuan Army of the Song family from Jian City is here to assist. Your ship is requested to evacuate the combat zone under our cover. He had no way to stop it. Just then, the fierce beast, which was gathering strength, was suddenly hit by countless shells. The one who resolved the crisis was the. Seeing this, Song Yunxiang realized something was wrong. Even if he could dodge it, the ship behind him would struggle to withstand it. As the enemy's attack was about to land, the survivors immediately started screeching. There weren't many left. Soon, dozens of stronger beasts gathered again. They all opened their mouths to charge their attacks. The enemy launched a long-range ray attack, sealing off this area. Then, like a meteor, it crashed into the ferocious beasts. Suddenly, the sound of explosions rang out continuously. With a single strike, dozens of ferocious beasts were instantly reduced to ashes. He took out the sky-shattering cloud bow again. Let's use this move. As soon as the dragon-tongue sword finished speaking, the long sword shot out, wrapped in a fierce wind. Midway, it split into dozens of strikes. It crazily rammed into the glass right in front of them. Luckily, Song Yunxiang arrived in time, and sliced the beast in half. He looked at more and more places. After thinking for a moment, it will become invalid after the real system. Upon hearing this, the captain turned pale. He ordered to continue sending distress signals on all channels. But at that moment, a fierce beast spotted them. Zhang Dogwai's eyes sparkled, shouting in amazement. At this moment in the command room, a subordinate reported, the defense array can't hold any longer, and landed above it. With a slash, it instantly froze through the beast's body. Everyone, upon seeing this, was left dumbfounded on the spot. The sky-shattering claw slashed toward the nearest beast. The beast's tough skin was no match for the sky-shattering claw. In an instant, 2 beasts were taken down. The last one, sensing danger, quickly turned and fled. Song Yunxiang leaped into the air. This strike also drew the attention of other fierce beasts. In an instant, 3 Armfang beasts rushed toward Song Yunxiang. In close combat, the sky-breaking bow's effectiveness is limited. Then he switched to his second form. The ferocious beasts were shattered to pieces, and such a powerful strike was unleashed from Song Yunxiang's sky-breaking bow. The 3 people witnessed this scene, and immediately fell into confusion. A beam of light flashed by. The ferocious beast enveloped in the light instantly turned to ash. The residual force of the beam remained strong, shooting straight into the sky, wherever it passed. But even in a 3 versus 3 situation, they could only be at a stalemate, unable to overpower each other. At that moment, with a bang, the situation for both of them instantly became unfavorable. At the critical moment, several spinning discs flew over, relieving some of the pressure on them. It was the blade-wielding Star Soul General controlled by Naira. It also consumes a lot, unless absolutely necessary. Song Yunxiang really doesn't want to use it. At this moment, Fij and Lao Wu are still fighting two wall enemies above. But as another wall enemy flies in, any more power. Star Master System. Unlock Lu Bu's Earth Tier weapon, the Poshianshan Cloud Giant Bow. The Poshianshan Cloud Giant Bow is Lu Bu's strongest ranged weapon, although it has tremendous power. Then looked towards the sky. By calculation, 7 arm forms have already entered the anti-shock interior, along with the beasts outside. I'm afraid even with everyone's combined strength, we can't hold on much longer. There's no need to hold back, as the two were about to fall into danger. At that moment, Lu Bu's mech made a dazzling entrance. Song Yunxiang immediately swung his halberd, a few times pierced the beast's head. However, he was careless for a moment, accidentally caught by the beast. Then he was thrown toward Shenluwei. The two collided and fell to the ground. Team B seized the opportunity to charge up a ranged attack. It would be safer to keep them close by. If it really came to that, he could only find a way to take a few people and abandon ship. At this moment, those who could fight all took the initiative to attack in their mechs. Nearby, Hua also took out his weapon, immediately launching a long-range attack at the people below. The others quickly summoned their mechs to block the attack. Meanwhile, some ordinary people were protected by Song Yunxiang's formation. Originally, he wanted the little girl and her family to go to the lower deck to hide. But then he thought, if only we had a star soul with flight abilities like Chao Ren or Bai Qi. This is bad. Fij also actively joined the fight. The two of them teamed up to confront the incoming attacker. But at this moment, 5 more arms flew in from outside. Upon hearing this, he broke out in a cold sweat. At this height, there was no way to escape with so many people. Right now, he only had Xinghuan, Lu Bu, and the 2 soul cards he picked up. Zhang Daguai's bodyguard, Lao Wu, stepped forward. Young master, you must protect yourself. After saying that, he managed to stand alongside Bai Fong in his mech. At this moment, Song Yunxiang received a system alert indicating that an overwhelming danger beyond the host's capability was about to appear. Please evacuate the area immediately. It eventually couldn't bear the load. With a bang, a crack appeared. The fierce beast immediately entered the ship. Seeing the critical situation, he immediately ordered a distress signal to be sent to the surrounding cities, and dispatched the ship's security team to counterattack. But the slow-moving spacecraft is no different from a target. Under the intense fire coverage, the protective barrier soon reached its limit. He looked up and realized something was wrong. Although the local forces are mostly at the Emperor and Earth levels, the sheer number is overwhelming. I'm afraid the protective formation on this ship won't hold for long. The captain is well aware of this. Fortunately, the ship's protective barrier blocked them, but the aftershock still caused the ship to shake violently. Lin Jinghua lost her balance, accidentally falling off the platform, but was quickly caught in Song Yunxiang's arms, slowly torn open by a huge black hole. A swarm of ferocious beasts suddenly surged out from inside. They saw the humans below, immediately launched an attack. In an instant, countless beams of light struck out. The order to accelerate the retreat was issued immediately, and the highest level of protective barrier was activated. Just as Ling Jinghua was still immersed in the joy of breaking through, the alarm of a beast attack sounded inside the spaceship. The sky roared with thunder. He changed his expression dramatically upon seeing it. This fluctuation is the black cloud of the rift mixed with lightning, rapidly expanding. In the blink of an eye, it was already covering the area above the spaceship. The control room also detected the situation outside. The captain was shocked. That his chant was just a catalyst. The main reason was still the other person's long-term accumulation. The boundary had already become unstable. At this moment, a large cloud of black appeared suddenly in the sky. My bottleneck would loosen. At this moment, a surge of immense spiritual power flowed into his body again. Then, Jinghua involuntarily emitted waves of lightness. The unusual phenomena from the breakthrough caught everyone's attention. Song Yunxiang understood. A surge of spiritual power flowed into Jinghua. She carefully sensed it, and discovered that her realm had broken through. She had been at the peak of the Huang level for quite a while. I didn't expect that just by listening to this gentleman's chant, he actually understands me. When Yen Song Yunxiang didn't know what to say for a moment. It felt just like cheating on an exam. It made him feel uncomfortable. Just at that moment. One day, I will return proudly and justly. After hearing your guidance, my heart has finally opened up. I never expected to meet a soulmate like him here, and recalled the past. Lost in thought for a moment, At this moment, Jinghua's eyes were filled with tears. The one who will return is me. That's right, the stream flows beside my neighbor. Xiaomeng saw his confused look, and quickly reminded young Master Song about Miss Jinghua, that the last verse of the song hadn't been written yet, but you immediately hummed the final verse. Hearing this, he realized something was wrong, unconsciously humming along. But just as he reached the final lines, the quarry suddenly fell silent. He realized everyone was staring at him in shock. At this moment, Jinghua was trembling with excitement. Like a babbling stream in the mountains, sometimes passionate and powerful, like the crashing waves of the sea, and sometimes melancholy and sorrowful, like Lin Daiyu mourning the moon, shedding tears over the flowers. Song Yunxiang was mesmerized by the song. Seeing this, Song Yunxiang was filled with anticipation. He remembered that Jinghua became famous with the song Ranshin, earning her a place among the 4 great songstresses. Her voice was sometimes graceful and moving, and the ending wasn't finished yet. He couldn't resist the audience's enthusiasm. Perhaps he could find some inspiration during the live performance. With this thought, he decided to play it first, expressing her gratitude, but Xia still finds it endlessly enjoyable. The crowd urged him to perform another song. Seeing this, he asked everyone which song they wanted to hear. Zhang Daig shouted that he wanted to hear the song Burning Heart, which was still being written. Although the song was only halfway composed, I still vividly remember many of her songs, especially those few hits that made her famous. I wonder if any new ones have been created now. As one song ends, Miss Jinghua bows. Song Yunxiang sat below, deeply moved. He remembered this was one of Miss Jinghua's works before she became famous. He hadn't heard it in over 10 years since she left East Continent. It really brings back memories. Back in the day as a fan of Miss Jinghua, Zhang Dagua awkwardly apologized in a hurry, saying he acted on impulse. Now, please enjoy Miss Jinghua's original song Wen Jiangbei. As the host finished speaking, a melodious tune and singing spread throughout Zhongting. Perhaps we should leave it at that. Shall we continue to enjoy the performance? The next piece will be personally performed by me. Song Yunxiang smiled gently, indicating that it was quite good. As a witness on the battlefield, he might have some criticisms of its content. I will humbly accept them. However, due to commercial considerations, exaggeration in the adaptation is inevitable. I hope you will understand. Gentlemen, please allow me to say a few words first. First, I would like to thank this young gentleman for his appreciation of our work. In fact, the story inside is adapted by me from a legend. It is not the truth of the matter. The young gentleman from cabin may first have participated in this great battle. Hearing Miss Jinghua's voice, everyone immediately turned their eyes upward. They saw Lin Jinghua, dressed in ancient attire, had somehow arrived here. The young lady also heard your debate from backstage just now. I came here specifically to mediate. You're the fatso. Your whole family is fat. Just as the audience was arguing fiercely, a voice came from the stage. How about giving this young lady some face? At this moment, Xiaowen stepped forward. You fatso, my brother Song already apologized. Why won't you just let it go? Little girl, what did you just call me? My apologies, everyone. Song Yunxiang had no choice but to apologize to himself. But Zhang Dagui still wouldn't let it go. You're being too perfunctory. Show a proper attitude when apologizing. Apologize to that senior, Zhang Dagui said. Even Dad's bodyguard shouted. Hurry, apologize, apologize. Sorry, it was my slip of the tongue. Just now, during the performance, this gentleman made several sarcastic remarks. Not only was he disrespectful to Miss Jinghua, who adapted the play, but he also disrespected the veteran actor in the play. I ask you to apologize immediately. What a mess they're acting out. At this moment, Song Yunxiang really wished he could find a crack in the ground to hide in. Zhang Dagui, sitting nearby, saw his behavior, and angrily slammed the table. He gave a cold snort. The following plot is that the princess is willing to offer herself, but Lu Bu left here without looking back. If fate allows, we will meet again. I bid farewell and take my leave. That's quite a story, isn't it? A little poor knight. Come at me. Kill, kill, kill. Then both sides began to fight. Zhang Dagua watched, his blood boiling. Tears flowed down uncontrollably. Upon hearing this, Song Yunxiang, the tea I just drank spurted out. What the hell is the second princess? Clearly, it's the second prince. Don't be afraid, princess. His admiration was written all over his face. But Song Yunxiang, the one involved, was extremely embarrassed. He even felt like crying. Don't panic, second princess. This general will come to your rescue. Xinghuan transforms into Lu Bu. Then Lu Bu rides a wooden horse, grabs the Fangtian halberd and charges at the Tao Tai on the field. Zhang Dagui saw this, and was seeing stars. Xinghuan makes a brilliant entrance with Sua Si's descent. The crowd outside sees this, and immediately goes wild. Tian's Sua Si transforms in countless ways. Change, change, change. Song Yunxiang felt a bad premonition. Then, someone rushed onto the stage shouting for help. Then a group of Taotai surrounded him. Finally, a few Yuanshi stood together with the Taotai. Just as the Yuanshi were being pressed down and rubbed against the ground. Esteemed guests, please enjoy our troupe's latest masterpiece. Based on the true story of a certain hero from Yuanding City who single-handedly turned the tide. This is adapted into a dramatic battle in the Yuanding City series, titled Danchi Slays the Demons. No way, hearing this. In the prestigious area in the middle of the front row. On the left is the second young master Zhang Dagua from Zhang's family of Zhongzhou in cabin number 2. On the right are Nyla and Fij. As everyone takes their seats, the host also steps onto the stage. By the way, Zhong Ting's singing and dancing performance is about to start. After dinner, guided by Xiao Meng, Song Yunxiang and his group arrived at the performance venue. The seats in cabin number 1 are. Before long, the airship carrying Song Yunxiang entered a stable cruising state. The Tianzi number 1 cabin, Xiao Meng, has brought today's dinner. With the help of the elixir, he not only recovered from his injuries, but also feels healthier than before. Inside the room, the old man sighed as he looked at the photo album on the table. Yun Xiang, not only did this child suddenly heal his damaged soul veins, he also seems to have gained immense power. My daughter-in-law, could it be that everything is really going as you predicted? Oh, and inform Song Jing and Song Hua as well. Tell the eldest, the second, the fourth, and Xiao to all come back for dinner tomorrow night. Also, notify Yunjin and have her arrange for 2 air defense ships from the military to escort Yunxiang's ship. Your subordinate takes his leave, my lord. Song Mu received the order and started making arrangements. It is expected to arrive by noon tomorrow. Upon hearing the news, Old Master Song Jingzhong was very pleased. How Damo, I want you to personally go and receive him. The aircraft zoomed off into the distance. At the same time, in the Song family mansion of the Jiuan residence in Yong'an City, the chief steward, Song Nu, came to see the master. He reported that Song Yunxiang was about to return to the city, and replied that he was messaging home, letting them know, I'm coming back. It's been so long since I heard the word home. As he fastened his seatbelt, Xiao Wen quickly patted the seat, indicating he could sit there. Make sure to fasten your seatbelt. Big brother, what are you doing? Song Yunxiang smiled lightly. He stopped his movements. With his current cultivation level, refining an 8-star pill is still a bit of a stretch. Then the door opened. Song Yunxiang came out, so it wasn't affected too much. The pills are almost ready. It's a gift for the old man. I've also prepared portions for the Song family siblings. Once the sword was nearly done, soon it was time for departure. The enormous airship slowly rose into the air. With a loud rumble, the entire cabin began to shake. However, Song Yunxiang's private chamber was reinforced with a formation. Back in my past life during the Suanjiawi days, I was a fan of Miss Jinghua. 3 years later, Miss Jinghua would become a national treasure as a songstress. I have a deep impression of many of her works. I didn't expect the rumor that she is a singing diva for the Hongshire Shipping Company to be true. At this moment, a melodious sound of musical instruments echoed from the atrium. Hearing this, Song Yunxiang looked curiously toward the source of the sound. He saw a beautiful woman in ancient attire playing an instrument. It was none other than Miss Jinghua, one of the future 4 great songstresses of Tiandu. What a nostalgic sight. He directly shoved it into his mouth. Stop overthinking it. It's just a minor rejuvenation pill. I have plenty of this. After saying that, he turned and went back into the cabin. Hee, I was just pretending earlier. I've been used to this level of beating since childhood. He hadn't finished speaking yet. Song Yunxiang abruptly grabbed him. Then, disregarding the obstruction. Seeing this, Xiao Meng quickly waved his hand to refuse. Such a precious item is probably worth more than his own life. To be honest, young master, our Mao Air tribe's lives are quite resilient. Therefore, to the people of Xiaoyu, demon slaves are treated like goods, without dignity. If I hadn't spent so much time interacting with the demon tribes in the southern continent, I might not care about them so much. Could it still be possible? Zhang Zui Song Yunxiang finished speaking and took out a pill from his bosom. The star souls passed down through each clan are as incompatible as water and fire. Because of the constraints from the Long Hai Kingdom, in my last life, I never saw the army of the Xiaoyu Kingdom until the final battle in Tiandu. The Xiaoyu Kingdom is adjacent to the dwelling place of the demon tribes on the eastern continent, so capturing demon slaves and selling them to various countries became one of Xiaoyu Kingdom's important economic industries. Song Yunxiang guessed they were from Xiaoyu Kingdom. Xiaoyu Kingdom is a tribal alliance located southwest of Tiandu. In a previous life, Milun allied with Taiha's remnants and Xiaoyu to launch a joint attack on Tiandu. Tiandu, in response, formed an alliance with Longhai Kingdom, led by the Jiao and other demon clans. The Hu Yen clan of Xiaoyu has had an irreconcilable blood feud with the Lan royal family of Longhai. But now it wasn't right to keep making things difficult. The two of them solemnly apologized to Song Yunxiang once again, then left without looking back. He hurriedly left this place, based on their skin tone and how they carried their luggage. Take this as compensation for our impulsiveness. Senior, what do you think? Song Yunxiang took the storage card. Initially wanting to get angry, Naira quickly ran over to apologize. I'm sorry, this young master, here are 50,000 jade coins. That's enough to buy a second-hand maid. Although Fij was scared, he still pretended to be calm and asked who he was. Let go of me, or I won't be polite. After saying that, he took out his red card. It looked like a fight was about to break out. Whose skill can make someone at my level, Xian stage, completely unable to move? Song Yunxiang looked at him, frowning. Friend, this is the exclusive maid for my sky rank cabin number 1. Who the hell do you think you are? The lowly slave beggar raised his fist. He was about to strike the opponent, but just as he was about to do so, he was suddenly grabbed by Song Yunxiang. What? He can't control himself whenever he sees a cat-eared servant. It's just a mere demon slave. What if we accidentally kill it? We'll compensate at full price. Just go ahead and die. Die. The sounds of pounding continued without stopping. The guard saw this and wanted to intervene, but he was held back by Naira. Xiao Fei's family was killed by demon slaves. Lowly creature. How dare you touch me? As soon as he finished speaking, he kicked the opponent in the stomach again. Demon trash. The demon race are just trash, barely surviving under the protection of humans. As he finished speaking, he stomped on the carrot on the ground. Xiaomeng struggled to crawl over, apologizing repeatedly. She begged him not to stomp on it anymore. Fegger frowned, showing a fierce expression. Lowly demon slave. The noble lady of the Samarine family. Isn't someone a wretch like you can touch? A sound of something slicing through the air rang out, as a foot aimed for my neck and kicked up. Bang! Xiaomeng was slammed through the door, and thrown into the courtyard. I accidentally bumped into Naira. The radishes in my arms fell all over the ground. Ignoring the pain on my body, I quickly rushed over to apologize. But in the next moment, she must go out to play. Stop making a fuss, we can come back later, Fegger said while trying to comfort her. At this moment, Xiaomeng ran in from the yard, holding the freshly picked radish. The moment the door opened, the ship will temporarily close when departing. It will reopen only when the ride is stable. Nyla heard this, and immediately threw a tantrum. She insisted she didn't care. But he couldn't resist Naira's request, so he had no choice but to follow along. However, as soon as they reached the entrance of the garden, they were stopped by the guard. For safety reasons, the courtyard garden is beautiful under the sunset. Hey, shall we go over there and take a look? Do we have to? I don't really want to move. Emphage was fiddling with the soul card, and lazily responded, I'll take you there. After saying this, Song Yunxiang walked straight over, and in the cabin across the way, a girl named Nyla was also looking at the scenery in the garden. She quickly agreed. Then she hurriedly ran to the kitchen to make arrangements. At this moment, Xiaowen came to the window. She looked at the scenery outside, praising how beautiful it was. Do you want to go take a look? Take this storage card first. If there aren't any, have the pastry chef make them for me. Oh right, I want the ones with radish filling. If they don't have it, go ashore to buy some. Xiaomeng took the storage card and luggage. If there's nothing else, just get some buns. Start with 5 portions. Xiaomeng explained. Buns aren't on the menu. Hearing this, Song Yunxiang took out a storage card. He asked Tang Jinshui and his group what they would like to eat. The girl, Xiaowen, listened. She eagerly raised her hand to ask for dumplings. Seeing this, her mother Shindai quickly went up to cover his mouth and apologized. Song Yunxiang's thoughts were suddenly interrupted by Xiaomeng's voice. He rubbed his eyes, indicating he was fine. He just remembered something from the past. Bring me the menu, let me have a look. A moment later, Song Yunxiang took the menu, but unfortunately, his Star Soul General was sealed by the 5 Elements Great Formation during the Great Battle 500 years ago. At that time, Song Yunxiang was not very proficient in formations, so he missed the opportunity to replicate that Star Soul General. Young Master Song, are you okay? Here, Song Yunxiang learned the unique inheritance of the demon race that tempers the body with Star Soul power, and the incredible alchemy techniques of the spirit race. Later, he was even defeated by the Dozhan Feng lineage. He was accepted as a personal disciple by the battle ancestor. The battle ancestor was originally one of the few ordinary beings in the demon clan who possessed a star soul general. Unlike the eastern continent, there is no technology for mass-producing star soul generals here. Also, rifts and fierce beasts are quite rare. It is said that the last outbreak of fierce beasts was 500 years ago, in the southern continent. They belong to a marginalized and inferior race. For a long time, they have been protected and enslaved by humans. However, in the southern continent, where demon clans and spirit races coexist harmoniously, humans are actually extremely rare. They are so scarce that they have only appeared a few times in their literature. The demon tribe in the land and the spirit people are these minority races. Due to the inherent imbalance of the two star soul veins, it's extremely difficult to become a star soul master. Only 1 in 10,000 can even pretend to be a star soul general. On the eastern continent, where humans are dominant, the words below should indicate a slave collar. He hasn't seen the demon tribe for over 30 years. After the disastrous defeat in the final battle of Tiandu City in his last life, he was caught in a spatial rift in the secret realm of the Earth Spirit. It was the chaotic flow of space that brought him to the demon tribe of the southern continent. He respectfully knelt on the ground, introducing himself as Xiao Meng. He said they could ask him for any service they needed. Song Yunxiang looked at his long ears, realizing it is the identity of the demon tribe. We wish you all a pleasant journey. After speaking, he pressed the elevator button. Shortly after, the sound of the elevator rang again. A server with long ears, dressed in a maid outfit, approached, then came to their side. Wen Yan and Hong Fong chuckled. They said any time is fine. After finishing the business, he took his leave and left. By the way, a dedicated server will come over later. After some pleasantries, the two went into a room. Young Master Song, here is the elixir you wanted. It's all in this storage talisman. Thanks, I'll transfer the money to you later. A group of people arrived. He quickly went up to greet them. Song Yunxiang also cupped his fists in salute. He returned the greeting. Then they introduced each other. Moreover, during the previous battle, he had even saved her. Soon, they arrived at the top-level Tianhao box. The luxurious decor inside instantly shocked Tang Jinshui. The manager, Hong, had already been waiting for a long time in the hall. After realizing, they hurriedly made a respectful gesture to invite him in. When Jin Shui and his group hurriedly chased after them. As students of the same academy, Shen Ruowei naturally knew Song Yunxiang's identity. Song Yunxiang walked over briskly. I can take these few in, right? Saying this, he reached into his pocket, and pulled out a VIP card. The two attendants were instantly stunned. However, only he could go up. No family members were allowed. As soon as this was said, the atmosphere became a bit awkward. Just then, he could only leave next week. His wife, Shen Dai, advised him to just let it go. At that moment, his niece Shen Ruowei approached. She revealed her identity as a new soul master. The attendant stated that the new soul master from the base martial arts academy could board the ship. Song Yunxiang was interrupted from his memories by the argument between the man and the crew member. The man's name was Tang Jinshui. He was the development director of Yuanding City. However, since he was on leave, he was temporarily restricted. He suddenly froze in place, because he recognized that the severed arms belonged to the girl and his mother. At that moment, his mind was filled with deep guilt and regret. A tragic wail suddenly echoed through the sky. Just now, he tried his best to hold it back, but the destruction caused by the beast still harmed the civilians. After the battle, Song Yunxiang, holding his injured arm, was preparing to leave. But as he passed by a pair of severed arms, then the girl returned to her mother. But not long after, a hidden assassin suddenly emerged from the desert underground, and attacked the refugee convoy. Although Song Yunxiang stepped forward bravely, Song Yunxiang agreed. It's decided. Come on, let's pinky swear. Alright, now we need a stamp. The promise is sealed. The girl was very happy to see this. When I become the head of the chicken office in the future, I'll develop a new type of soul warrior. Big brother, you can be my exclusive soul servant then. Seeing the girl's expectant eyes. To protect everyone. Besides, radish filling is very nutritious, okay? Hurry up and eat, I'll watch you finish it. Song Yunxiang listened. He had no choice but to gulp it down. Song Yunxiang noticed this. He quickly said that he didn't like buns with radish filling. But you're a new soul master. How can you be picky? You need to recover your strength quickly. Xiao Wen wants to be like dad in the future. To create a new soul even stronger than Wei Yuanshi. I will eliminate all these fierce beasts. The girl finished speaking. Then her stomach let out a gurgling sound. They should be okay, right? As the girl spoke, she couldn't help but shed tears. I didn't cry. I'm very strong. I am the daughter of the Chicken King. Song Yunxiang did not respond. The girl began to speak to herself again. My sister is also a student at the Chicken Dance Academy. In order to help us escape, she and the instructor stayed behind to fend off the beasts. The atmosphere was a bit awkward. Then the girl broke the bun in half, giving him one piece. You're from the Jiwoo Academy, right? I recognize your school uniform. He thought of himself as useless, unworthy of accepting it, but the next second, her stomach growled. They exchanged a smile. Then you can protect us. Although Song Yunxiang was very hungry, he still shook his head and refused. In such an extreme situation, even a little bit of food is very precious. Big brother, you're a star soul master, right? The little girl saw the soul card in his hand, and suddenly came over to greet him. Here, this bun is for you. Once you're full, you'll have the strength to summon the star spirit. The refugee group was forced to head south. They entered the desert of death, stopping and starting along the way. They finally found a water source. At that moment, Song Yunxiang was both physically and mentally exhausted, filled with guilt. It was him, it was actually him. It was that girl. It turns out that after the flooding in the previous life, she fled the domed city with the refugees, encountering scattered beasts several times along the way, holding privilege tickets, were arguing with the staff about something. Song Yunxiang's gaze fell on the girl in red. After getting a clear look at the face, he was instantly shocked, left without looking back. Shortly after, in a gap at Dome City, a floating ship for Redstone Shipping was about to depart. Just as Song Yunxiang arrived at the lobby, he heard a commotion. 3 adults with a child. At that time, I hope you can bring these elite forces to assist me. When Wu Shijing heard this, his face changed dramatically. I was just about to ask more, but Song Yunxiang waved his hand and left. Don't ask, I have my own sources. Headmaster, please try to select suitable new soul masters from the best instructors and students for these experimental machines over the next few days. Gu Shijing didn't understand what that meant after hearing it. Song Yunxiang immediately explained, I'm going to hold you to the promise you made me earlier. In about a month, the southern border may need support. He quickly agreed. After hanging up the phone, Song Yunxiang disarmed himself. He also asked Mr. Manhwa to lead the other disciples of Ji Gong in producing as many as possible in the next few days. After speaking, he looked at Gu Shijing again. It's happening this afternoon. Song Yunxiang was very pleased to hear this. That's great. Thank you, Manager Hong. There's one more thing. At this moment, his watch notified him of a call. It was Manager Hong from the pharmacy. He informed him that the airport at Yuanding City had been restored. The route to Yongin City is now open. The tickets are ready. The power rivals the cannon of a vacuum ship. Then Song Yunxiang tried the other 2 models. One was the splash type and the other the shield barrel type. Although there were still flaws, it was already close to his expectations. Then Song Yunxiang took out a soul card, ready to test the new soul gear. As he finished speaking, a Wei Yuan-type artillery combat mech appeared in front of everyone. Artillery excels in long-range attacks. One shot can blast a giant crater over 100 meters wide. How about we discuss as equals for now? I will share and communicate my design ideas with you as much as possible. What do you think? After hearing the whole story, he quickly pulled Manhwa up. Based on a few design sketches presented by Mr. Song, his skills have likely surpassed the 6th level. The 6th level is a realm one is not even qualified to mentor. Song Yunxiang politely declined. He stated that he currently does not have the ability or plans to take on apprentices. The 2 people behind, upon hearing this, were shocked as if struck by lightning. He is a dignified 4th-tier Ji Gong master. Even the Ji Gong instructors at the Jiwoo Academy aren't worthy of carrying his shoes. Seeing this, Gushi tried to pull him away. Manhwa waved his hand to explain, drawing the attention of the beasts and saving them. Hearing this, Song Yunxiang felt unworthy. He quickly asked him to stand up, but Manhwa said he had one more presumptuous request. He asked Mr. Song to accept him as a disciple. The bewildered Song Yunxiang quickly stepped forward and grabbed him. Mr. Song, I bow to you. I first thank you, Mr. Song, for saving our refinery the other day. It turns out the factory was surrounded by fierce beasts before, and Song Yunxiang fought his way through. Song Yunxiang stepped forward and bowed respectfully. However, Manhwa, who was nervous, struggled to speak properly. Then, with a thud, he knelt down on the ground. This sudden scene left everyone with their mouths wide open in shock. Currently, we have produced these 3 machines based on your design drawings. The other 2 still have some technical issues that cannot be resolved. This is the chief engineer Manhwa from the Muay Thai Heavy Industry Dome Morning Practice Workshop. These experimental machines were made with their assistance. After listening to the introduction, he had already become numb. But seeing the countless names engraved on it, still made Song Yunxiang feel a bit sentimental. Before long, he arrived at the engineering defense zone. Master Gu unexpectedly handed him 3 soul cards. The items searched from those who were chasing Asen were also given to the second prince. He should be able to use them upon returning to Tiandu. Also, he gave the guards some of his rations. As he passed by, 2 mechas were setting up a memorial stone. He thought that after witnessing so much life and death, Song Yunxiang also walked out of the dormitory. He looked at the bustling reconstruction outside. He couldn't help but feel a surge of emotions. Although Tiandu City suffered heavy losses, it was fortunate that the instructors and classmates who were supposed to die were saved. Asking why he had lost contact, then he mentioned the design plan he had submitted a few days ago. The workshop had already made a test version. He told him to come over and take a look. After hanging up, Song Yunxiang muttered a few words to himself. He was immediately blacklisted. Then he called the director back. As soon as the director answered, he started yelling over the phone. So I had to contact manager Hong to purchase more. As soon as I opened my watch, dozens of calls and messages popped up. From both the dean and Shengwan. Inqin's illness really gives the senior sister a headache. The ground was littered with empty medicine bottles. With the aid of a large number of pills and formations, his realm had already reached the early stage of the low tier. I plan to continue my retreat. But unfortunately, the elixirs have run out. And Shengwan Inqin, holding a medical kit, was still searching for his figure. Time quickly passed. 10 days later, the restoration work after the battle was in full swing. During these 10 days, Song Yunxiang was also busy. At this moment, he was suspended in mid-air, practicing in his suit. Then, a floating airship will be arranged to send you back. As they were about to leave, Song Yunxiang realized he had forgotten something. Never mind, forget it. Let's go. Moments later, the floating sword turned into a streak of light and left. As he seemed. At this moment, Gu Shijing's secretary came to inform him. They found the device that triggered the rift in the eastern district. The dean and the second prince have already gone to deal with it. You two can return to the martial academy to rest for now. You just need to focus on pretending to be Zhua and serving people. This should repay half of the favor I owe you, right? After hearing this, Song Yunxiang pretended to be flustered. At this moment, he realized. This old man wasn't as simple. I have spent decades in the mortal realm. I have visited several secret realms, both big and small. I consider myself somewhat knowledgeable. Then he leaned in cheekily. Don't worry, I'll help you erase all traces in the city and at the Martial Institute. You're definitely not just some nobody from Zhuaxi, are you? Hearing this, Song Yunxiang smiled gently. What do you mean by that? I have roamed the world. He quickly leaned forward and excitedly asked if it was really true. Hearing Song Yunxiang's confirmation, Elder Su's excitement was unmistakable. How could I ever repay such a favor? Hey, kid. He might have grasped that chance to break through his bottleneck. How about I give you another one later? You can find a place to comprehend it slowly. What did you say? Elder Su was visibly startled upon hearing this. Then helped the weak Su to rest. Su looked full of regret. He insisted that he was fine. It's just a pity to waste such a precious pill. If he had taken it in better condition. Please forgive me, Your Highness. It's alright. Fortunately, this battle ended without serious danger. Then the two exchanged pleasantries. At this moment, Song Yunxiang picked up Manhua's soul card. He quietly placed it into his pocket. Under the command of the Mecha Institute, the Tiandu forces, led by Cheng Weijun, have completely surrounded this area. It's not too much. Gu Shijing finally arrived. Your Highness is in danger. I was unable to arrive in time to provide assistance. Otherwise, he would have vanished with the mecha long ago. At this moment, the effects of the super tranquil pill have completely worn off. Elder Su retracted the mecha. It fell back to the ground. The great battle has come to an end. Manhua's mech was completely destroyed and shattered into pieces. After the smoke cleared, all that was left was him, unconscious, covered in light. This is still the result of Elder Su's vigilance. Then he casually swung it through the air. The next second, there was a thunderous boom. A slash spanning 1,000 miles appeared instantly in the city. The power of a saint-level warrior is truly terrifying. The screams were gradually drowned out by the explosions. But when he looked up, he froze on the spot. Because at some point, Elder Su had already appeared in front of him. I no longer need a sword to slay you. With that, he raised his arm again. Like a collapsing structure, he crashed heavily into the building. Damn it, the demonic disintegration mode. Maximize the power for me. Monroe knew things were going wrong. He hurriedly gave the order. I finally understand why anyone below the holy rank is but an ant. At this moment, he simply waved his arm lightly. In an instant, a world-destroying force surged forward. Man Luo, who was locked on, had no way to evade. With a bang, he was blasted back hundreds of meters. This power really exceeds what you can bear. A grand wedding. As his words fell, a majestic golden mech instantly appeared before everyone. Zhu Lao felt this power. A wave of saint-level pressure swept over everyone present. Is this the power of a saint? At this moment, I finally understand why that old woman said those below the saint level are mere ants. Sorry, old buddy. One day, when he returns as a saint, he will crush this towering wall, and take the one he loves out of the royal prison. At this moment, the awakened Su Heming was surrounded by golden light. The imperial temple initially wanted to kill a few people, but after Su Ni's desperate pleas, they ultimately let them go. After such humiliation, Su Heming defied history on the spot. Huang Suni was a rare Su person born to the royal family in a century. The future is destined to step into the sacred realm. And Su Heming, despite being a young genius of the celestial tier, if he does not enter the sacred realm, he is nothing but an ant. At that time, he came to Quancheng in search of his true love. Yet, even with the help of two close friends, his efforts during the Tianjia period were in vain. Because the person they faced was Huang Miaoyin, one of the four saints of Shishui Kingdom, a star soul descender. She was a powerful figure at the saint level, a Su person. She was also the aunt of Su Heming's girlfriend, Huang Suni. No, this is my deepest obsession with the path to sainthood. That was over 30 years ago. At the foot of the 100-foot-high wall in Stream City, I am utterly defeated. Su Heming, at 33, was still a handsome young man in a red robe. Without hesitation, he swallowed it. Now the favor owed is huge. Oh well, let me take this moment to reflect. Moments later, he seemed to be in a mysterious starry sky. Is this reflection me? Can temporarily boost one's cultivation level by a major stage. It was one of the trump cards Song Yunxiang had prepared for him. Although its effects would be greatly diminished at Elder Su's half-saint level, it should still be more than enough to raise his level by a minor stage for a short time. Elder Su gazed at the legendary elixir he had only ever read about in ancient texts. At this moment, he couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. However, in the second before losing consciousness. Still, he reached into his pocket with trembling hands. Then he took out the Ultracom pill, a 6th-grade elixir given by Song Yunxiang. The Ultracom pill, when taken as directed, can kill with ease like slaughtering chickens and dogs. Even when facing a true saint level, it wouldn't be impossible to fight. After saying that, he burst into wild laughter. But did old Su really lose? The mecha also totally collapsed and disintegrated. With a bang, it crashed back to the ground. Monroe stood there, holding the mecha's head, looking smug. The feeling of such power was intoxicating to him. Now, Elder Su was tossed around like a ball, repeatedly crashing back and forth. Monroe only used his weapon to freeze him, after he had his fun. Then he grabbed his opponent's head and split it in an instant. This left old Su completely unable to fight anymore. When he reappeared, he was already by his side. Then, Elder Su only felt a massive impact hit him. He couldn't see Monroe's figure clearly. Afterwards, Monroe effortlessly moved behind him, and attacked again. On the other hand, old Su said nothing. He just gasped heavily, clearly still recovering from the earlier exertion. And in the next second, Monroe vanished from where he stood. He was beaten black and blue by the old man. But he had an excited expression on his face. He activated the demonic disintegration mode. As soon as the words were spoken, the previously damaged mecha rose to a near victory level, activating demon disintegration mode. Just after saying that, the originally damaged mech reassembled itself. Demon disintegration mode. The lower boundary is already infinitely closer to the holy sword than the birth of the saint. It can be called a quasi-saint. But surprisingly, Manhwa had endured it head-on. No wonder it's half a holy rank. Using this broken machine can still unleash such a powerful move. Well, I really didn't want to use this. Then it transformed into a stream of light and crashed down with a boom. There was no escape. Manhwa was locked onto and directly hit. Countless buildings on the ground collapsed from the impact. Until the dust settled, only a wasteland remained. Demonis, come taste this sword of mine. This move was originally prepared specifically for a certain saint rank. It's called Divine Fire. As the words fell, a fierce sword light shot up into the sky. With a bang, the hit Elder Su was sent flying again. The next second, Manhwa chased after him with a weapon in hand. As she was about to get close, Elder Su seized the opportunity to unleash his ultimate move. Immediately after, his broken sword swept sideways with force. But Manhwa, using his incredible speed, had already dodged behind him. Then, soul power gathered in his legs, and he kicked directly at his opponent. Before old Su could stabilize himself, Manhwa instantly flashed to his rear. He swung at his head. Fortunately, Su Lao leaned back just in time to avoid it. Old Su hurriedly reminded Song Yunxiang to be careful. In a critical moment, he used the 7 steps of spring to evade the attack range. Then, taking advantage of old Su's distraction, Manhwa quickly approached and launched a sneak attack. With a loud bang, he was knocked back several hundred meters. Luckily, Song Yunxiang arrived just in time, and took the two of them away from there. At that moment, Manhwa retreated, first creating some distance. Then he swiftly attacked, throwing out two weapons, rushing toward the next target. Seeing this, old Su pulled out his own red card. In the next second, their weapons clashed. The shockwave from the impact instantly sent the surrounding mechs flying. The defensive array shattered into pieces in an instant. But just as they were about to take shape, they vanished instantly. Suddenly, there was an explosion where Lu Xingguo was standing. The smoke cleared. He had already fallen unconscious to the ground. Then, in a flash, he moved again. The Pingtian sect was founded by the 400-year-old deity-level Pingtian patriarch of the Milun kingdom. At this moment, Manhwa takes out a red soul card from his pocket. New soul ready. As soon as he finishes speaking, countless rainbow lights gathered around. The peak of their combat power are two god-level ancestors who have lived for 400 years. Both the Milun kingdom and the Shishui kingdom have a deity-level powerhouse. Although the Tiandu kingdom doesn't have a deity level, it barely maintains a delicate balance of power between the three sides, with more saint-level powerhouses than the other two combined. She is indeed a demon sect witch. It's really a bad omen. The Pingtian holy sect is also known as the demon sect. It is a superpower that controls most of the military and political affairs of Milun country. There are 3 countries in the eastern continent. The woman's name was Manhwa. She was an inspector of the Pingtian holy sect, and also possessed the half-saint's power of Tian Zihai. When he saw the mask, he recognized him as a member of the demon sect. Mr. Su's face became a little more solemn at this moment. We humbly ask the holy envoy for assistance. Immediately, a hidden figure on a distant building revealed themselves. Upon closer inspection, it turned out to be a woman wearing a bull-headed mask, holding a deadly weapon, and his strength had increased by several degrees. He never expected not only to see Lu Bu's target, but also to have a semi-saint master by his side. Immediately, he knelt down on the ground. His hands stumbled. The battle between the two heavenly tier experts was also nearing its end. The leader was knocked back hundreds of meters by Lu Xingwu's dragon tail strike. At this moment, he was stunned. The other party was clearly seriously injured. Why was he still so fierce? In an instant, he struck down. The other shoulder of the mech also detached from its body. The onlookers exclaimed, "That's amazing," at the same time, and had even caught the blade with his bare hands. Then, the old man leapt up like lightning. He lightly kicked the mecha. The massive mechanical arm shattered inch by inch. Then he single-handedly admitted it. How could one attack an unarmed old man? A 40-meter-long sword came crashing down on the elderly man in his 60s. But as the smoke cleared, the perpetrator broke into a cold sweat in fear, because the old man was completely unharmed. But when the smoke cleared, he was drenched in cold sweat. He saw Elder Su effortlessly grasping the tip of the knife, muttering to himself, "The world is indeed declining. Morality is in decay." Killing one, but the other mech had already raised its sword right in front of him. "I'll kill you first, you old bastard." Then he gathered strength in both hands. With a bang, he struck down. 2 mechs in the distance realized their long-range weapons were ineffective, and began to sneak closer, intending to engage in close combat. Just as they were about to approach, the halberd struck down instantly. The outer protective array scatters the beams of light, and then filters a small amount of soul power to be absorbed by the inner shock absorber. It's truly ingenious. I wonder which master this Song kid learned from. His formation techniques have already surpassed the limits of this era. The few people on the ground are temporarily safer. Even if attacks come, it will also be blocked by the formation. Elder Su saw this scene, and couldn't help but praise repeatedly. Then several mechas were simultaneously sliced in half. Seeing this, Tianzi recognized it as the commander's ultimate technique, the Moonfall Slash. This Song Yun, the energy behind Xiang is far greater than I imagined. Under layers of guards, for over a decade, there has been no mention of him having any connection with Song Jia. At this moment, Song Yun leaps into the air. His soul power converges and forms. A shockwave suddenly struck down. Tian Zihai immediately recognized this as Xian armor. To master the technique, one must take 7 steps. Only a select few elite Xuanjia warriors are qualified to learn it. The current commander of the Xuanjia army, Dylan, is one of the 8 generals of Tiandu, a saint-level warrior. But he has always followed the path of loyalty. Plus, there's the issue of realms, so it's still a bit forced. Then he swallowed a few pills, leaped into the air, and charged at the other enemies. With a bang, he instantly killed another one in the blink of an eye. But now, even Song Yunxiang was starting to struggle. These are heavier than Volo's armor. They surpass Wei Yuan's strength. The surrounding enemies hurriedly grabbed their weapons and opened fire. But Lu Bu charged forward in an instant. He immediately sliced one of the mechs in half. Then he became a blur again, attacking the other enemies, which is why it has become so corrupt. Immediately, the weapons of the two clashed, sparking brilliantly. Liu Xinwu also retorted without reservation, saying the opponent's mech looked like a crab. At that moment, an enemy in the shadows attempted to launch a sneak attack. But in the next second, he was frozen through by Lu Bu's strike. Full of determination, he then summoned his own mech. The leader of the Milong kingdom mocked relentlessly. The useless golden paint and decorations. Your Tiandu kingdom is obsessed with this flashy culture, and jumped out of the formation's range. Elder Su, protect the two of them. I'll take care of the small fry. Commander Lu, I'll leave that heaven-class walkie-talkie to you. Hearing this, Lu Xingwu also jumped out. In the blink of an eye, a dense barrage of beams whistled towards them. But when the smoke cleared, the few people in the formation were unharmed. Song Yunxiang leaped up. Song Yunxiang tossed a pill to Old Su and walked out. Old Su caught it and was instantly dumbfounded. In an instant, he was left speechless. With a command from the leader, the ambushers hidden around immediately pulled the trigger. It doesn't matter. All units, listen to my command and disengage. The Nizong sect has killed the second prince of Tiandu. Operation Tianzi Si begins now. At this moment, everyone around could feel his unfathomable power, and in the next second, dense shadows appeared on the surrounding buildings. A small leader let out a cold snort. The concealed formation has been removed. Have we been discovered? Mr. Su sensed something, and realized he was surrounded. But what surprised him even more, was that Song Yunxiang had noticed it even earlier, seeing everyone gathered together. They had taken defensive positions. He then engraved the formation on the crystal for catalysis. He explained how it triggered the spatial collapse. He wasn't afraid of others imitating him, because people in this era basically cannot replicate it. At this point, Song Yunxiang suddenly sensed an enemy approaching. Hearing this, everyone was shocked. Then Elder Su asked if the fierce beast in the heavenly steppes was killed by him. He was very curious about how the opponent crossed 3 major realms to kill enemies. Then Song Yunxiang briefly described the process of detonating the void crystal to defeat Qiongqi. Song Yunxiang quickly started flattering him excessively, saying it was out of admiration. Stop pretending in front of me, kid. I heard from the girl that you're Zhuizi's chosen successor, right? A chosen successor is one who's actively picked by a star soul master. Wouldn't I be able to crush the entire era? Isn't this Old Su in front of me the perfect test subject? Sensing his excited gaze on him, Old Su's heart trembled. Ask him if he's up to something sneaky. At this moment, Song Yunxiang was lost in thought. In a previous life, I had already established a system to cultivate breakthroughs to sainthood. Even someone as useless as me could endure it. If I could train an army from the Holy Realm. Unfortunately, he has never been able to break through. In the Heavenly Realm, he is considered a great perfection. He is also respectfully referred to as a half-saint. Upon hearing Lu Xingwu's introduction, a few people around also respectfully paid their respects. With one strike, he cut down 3 warships. It said that over 20 years ago, he had already reached the pinnacle of the celestial rank. But ascending to the saint rank is as hard as climbing to the heavens. Afterward, he continued to train in the mortal world, only to find a glimmer of opportunity for success. Mastered technique, one sword shatters mountains and rivers. Dominated the eastern continent. Once, for a single promise, he rode alone for thousands of miles, to reinforce the battlefield in Beijing. This man was none other than Su Heming, the old gatekeeper of Jiwu Academy. He immediately bowed in respect. Su Heming was the top swordsman of the 3 swords of Nanzhou. At the age of 30, he had already reached the heavenly stage and made his name. The old man spoke at this moment. You've been hiding well in the Jiwu Academy. He didn't expect the opponent to only have royal-level peak cultivation. He was able to sense the aura of his former self. As the smoke cleared, Song Yunxiang recognized him too. At that moment, his eyes suddenly turned cold. Immediately, he kicked towards the shadow nearby. But the next second, his foot was grabbed by someone. Then an old voice rang out, "Kid, you're quite interesting." The others instantly became alert. The old man, along with those siblings and the guards, all died there. At that time, I was powerless to stop it all. Once again, I escaped alone. I was later saved by that female teacher. There are still 2 months left, we have time. He had followed the refugee group all the way south, circled around the desert of death. It took nearly 20 days to escape back to the Song family, but less than a month later, the southern border defended by the Song family was also swallowed up by an even larger force. The two were about to take their leave. On the way back, Song Yunxiang decided that this matter was settled. He needed to hurry home. In his previous life, the Jiwu Academy and Yuan Ding in Chengdu were destroyed during this tide. Lu Shengwu quickly recovered. And just then, Shangguan Yinqin also arrived. Because his second brother, Shangguan Hongchen, was serving under Tian Zihai. So he showed great respect towards Tian Zihai. After a brief conversation, Song Yunxiang realized something was wrong. Then, to Tian Zihai's shock, he frantically shoved an entire bottle of weapons and ammunition into his mouth. My goodness, it was utterly inhumane. Under the effects of a large amount of high-level elixirs, Tian Zihai solemnly clasped his fists in salute. He thanked him for his assistance. They introduced themselves to each other. Song Yunxiang then approached him. He looked at the severely injured Lu Shenwu. Not long after, the smoke cleared. Qiongqi vanished on the spot. Then, Song Yunxiang disarmed himself. He greeted the second prince. At the same time, in the core battlefield of the North District, Song Yunxiang paid with one arm to deliver the sky-opening crystal into the mouth of Qiongqi. Then a deafening explosion sounded. The old man waved his hand, ready to leave. I'm heading to the Northern District to have a look. There's a little guy there who interests me. With that, he leapt away, jumping into mid-air. Report, Director. All 5 targets have been subdued. Hearing the assistant's report, he nodded with satisfaction, seeing that everything was fine here. As soon as the words were spoken, a dagger instantly pierced through the enemy's mech. The others were also enveloped by the soul-binding king, descending from the sky. After eliminating all the enemies, the assistant sheathed the weapon, but then he suddenly sensed that he was being watched. The moment the old man turned around, the enemy on the distant building also realized they had been spotted. Do you need me to take care of those few pests? No need, I've already arranged it. It's very likely been infiltrated. I'm not reassured, so, I'm leaving it to you. Gave some instructions. The old man was about to leave. It came at a considerable cost. At this moment, the old man descended from the sky, greeting them. Gu Shijing quickly deactivated his mecha attack mode. These are the Myron Empire spies Cheng Weijun and Michis, caught near the crack in the Eastern District. We can take on 10 more. Dean Gu Shijing appears calm on the surface. He actually broke out in a cold sweat. He was well aware of the power of the sky-rank fierce beasts. Although they luckily won using the human wave tactic, countless heavily armored soldiers are surrounding and attacking Qiongqi. Under the tactics of human wave assaults and dense fire coverage, Qiongqi ultimately struggles to hold on, and crashes to the ground. Then, excited shouts erupt in the arena. The heavenly stage beast is nothing like this. He tried to summon his mech for a final stand, but in the next moment, they were knocked out with a single stomp. Then, the old man left with one captive. And on another battlefield, a group of mysterious figures was setting up a special device. Realizing the mission had failed, they turned to leave. However, the old man appeared. The mysterious man panicked. He chanted the spell, "Hold me." In an instant, purple lightning spread across the entire body of the Qiongqi. It panicked, and transformed into a blinding ball of light. Meanwhile, on a nearby building, he then grabbed the crystal, and struck it directly into Qiongqi's mouth. At the cost of one arm, he placed the crystal into the other's mouth. Then, he endured the excruciating pain. I can only use some underhanded tricks. Tian Zihai was amazed by the sight. Brilliant. Infusing soul power into the void crystal, creating a small spatial collapse through an overload explosion. Never thought I'd witness such a crazy move. The smoke cleared. It was seen that one side of Qiongqi's palm had already transformed into the void. Sorry, I'm not a match for the heavens just yet. However, he had also achieved his goal. Give it to me. The crystal he secretly left next to Qiongqi began to vibrate uncontrollably. Then it emitted a deafening explosion. Not long after, as the two collided, a strong wave of energy spread out in all directions. He was then blasted away, until he crashed through several buildings. He barely managed to stop his movement. Seeing this, Song Yunxiang quickly sidestepped to dodge. BG Centipede used the force underfoot, and instantly sprang up. Lu Bu swung his halberd in response. As soon as the words fell, the Fengtian halberd on the ground turned into stardust, then reformed in his hand. Without any more obstacles, Qiongqi immediately opened its mouth to launch a ranged attack. Immediately after, Song Yunxiang charged toward Qiongqi with the crystals. As he approached, he leaped into the air, testing the fire dragon star well. The Fengtian halberd returns. Song Yunxiang attached the Fengtian halberd with a formation, blocking Qiongqi's path forward. Then he sent Shangguan Yinqin to extract the sky-splitting crystals from the beast's corpse. It wasn't until he could barely hold on that Shangguan Yinqin hurried back with 3 crystals. It was the heavenly beast Xiongqi, which had also appeared on the other two battlefields. Just then, Song Yunxiang arrived. However, as a peak emperor rank, it was nearly impossible for him to defeat a heavenly beast. In order to buy some time, if it weren't for Lu Xingwu sacrificing himself to protect him, he would probably be dead by now. At this moment, the beast launched another attack. In the distance, through the smoke, a massive figure slowly approached. Only a few are left struggling to hold on. Even Lu Xingwu, who is at the initial stage of heaven's steps, is in a state of near death. Tian Zihai looks at him, his eyes filled with self-blame. They had just fallen into the trap of the Merlin Kingdom. It began firing. At the command, dense firepower covered the entire sky. The scene shifts to. On the other side, the royal guard, originally 100 strong, is now severely injured. The whole army is in formation. As soon as the words were spoken, countless well-equipped soldiers quickly formed their ranks, accompanied by a loud noise. A massive head emerged from the crack. I won't care about you. Immediately, the warhorse disappeared with a bang from everyone's sight. Meanwhile, on another battlefield, the dean gazed silently at the crack in the sky, looking somewhat serious. He learned that the other party had Zhuo. This further strengthened his determination to become the Shengguan family's son-in-law. Then he leaped up, jumped onto the horse's back, held on tight to avoid falling off. As the words fell, a majestic warhorse appeared beneath him moments later. Just as Song Yunxiang was about to set off, Shengguan Yinqin followed him again. From their earlier conversation, I can offer you one additional condition within my authority as dean. With that said, Song Yunxiang has no reason to refuse. Whatever, let's just go and see what happens. Star Lord System, equip me with the Star Soul, Crimson Flame Fire Dragon Steed. The one who assassinated the second prince was definitely not Asen. He needs one condition. Please help me save the second prince. On behalf of the Martial Academy, I will request permission for you to legally possess the Star Soul, descended Zhuo. And after it's done, in the rumors from the previous life, it seems he died during this tidal incident. The public reason was that he was assassinated by a Taiyuan assassin. Asen was also wanted by Tiandu because of this. But regardless, the second prince of Tiandu Kingdom, Tian Zihai. This name is familiar to Song Yunxiang. The second prince, Tian Zihai, is a leading figure in the royal faction that advocates for war. He's said to be a war fanatic. He had applied several times to launch a preemptive attack on Milun. You don't need to fully suppress it. I just need you to rescue one person. Rescue someone. Lao Song, that's all. The person is not simple. That's right. The person I want you to rescue is a member of the royal family. We've already identified 3 possible core locations of the induction devices. The one in the eastern district. I've already sent a top-tier expert to suppress it. I'll take care of the southern district. So, I need you to head to the northern district. Hearing this, Song Yunxiang tried to explain and smooth things over. But Gu Shijin interrupted him. How about we make a deal? This moisture outbreak is very likely to have been artificially induced. I had no choice but to reveal my strength. However, your Song family acting like this has already severely violated the Star Soul General Management regulations of Tiandu Kingdom. The consequences could be serious or minor. Accusing you of treason isn't out of the question. So, the old man must have noticed long ago that you have a certain compatibility with Zhuo's soul jade. And that's why he arranged for you to enter Jiwu Academy, waiting for an opportunity to steal the soul desire. Unfortunately, because of the sudden moisture this time, you had to step in to save someone. Let Zhuo take the blame for the Star Master system. With this thought, Song Yunxiang waved his hand grandly. I'm done pretending, let's lay all the cards on the table. That's right, I did get Zhuo's soul jade. I didn't expect you to admit it so easily. This woman's reasoning was so compelling that he almost believed it himself. Although he never intended to hide the existence of the Star Master system, since he was mistakenly thought to be under the illusion created by Zhuo, he decided to play along, but also imitate some abilities and moves of the target. He can even conceal the true strength of the Star Spirit Master. After saying this, he removed the barrier, so that everyone could hear these words. Song Yunxiang was momentarily bewildered. He becomes even more certain of his suspicion. Stop pretending. The red Lubu that actually appeared is just an illusion created by your unique transformation ability as Zhuo, right? According to the records of Tiandu Kingdom, Zhuo can not only transform into other star spirits, using family connections to sneak into Jiwu Academy, your true purpose. It's all for the Zhuo soul jade, right? The weapon gets closer. Song Yunxiang starts to panic. Gu Shijin observes his expression. Song Yunxiang was indifferent, wanting to refuse to answer under the guise of privacy. But the elf dean had already guessed the whole cause and effect. hiding your true strength, pretending your soul veins are damaged. After disarming, Dean Gu Shijing appeared. Gu Shijing quietly walked straight up to Song Yunxiang, then activated the mountain guarding formation, creating a soundproof barrier. Just then, a voice roared in. Everyone looked up, only to see a mighty mech descending from the sky. With a bang, it landed on the ground. Hiding your strength? I do appreciate your help, though, but I need you to give us an explanation. Facing their questioning, Song Yunxiang didn't know how to respond for a moment. How could you be so strong just now? Aren't you supposed to be weakened due to your soul vein defect? Can you really only fight for 3 minutes? Cheng Yi questioned him with a puzzled look. Why have you been pretending that your soul vein is damaged since you entered school? After Song Yunxiang was disarmed, he smiled as he greeted the two. Where have you been, you brat? You've been missing for days. Oh, that's not right. As his voice fell, dozens of fierce beasts were instantly wiped out. At this moment, Shangguan Yingqin hurried over. Instructor O, Instructor Cheng. Long time no see. The Fang Tian Hua Ji reformed in his hand. He then concentrated his soul power beneath his feet. He skillfully maneuvered through the opponent's attacks. As he closed in, he instantly sliced the ferocious beast in half. A beam of light flashed before them. It was Song Yunxiang arriving just in time, using the Fang Tian Hua Ji to draw the beast's attention. It seems I arrived just in time. Song Yunxiang waved his arm. Before they could adjust, the beast launched its next wave of attack. This attack could not be blocked by the distant shield at all. Just when they were in despair, switched to long-range attacks. In an instant, countless beams of light rained down on the crowd, catching everyone off guard. The advantage we once had vanished completely. At this moment, in the central area of the martial academy, instructors and students struggled as they fought and retreated. But fortunately, we could use the terrain to continuously wear down the isolated beasts. Over time, the beasts, seeing that their fierce attacks were ineffective, jumping into the air. Wait, I'll go with you. Shangguan Yingqin saw his beloved leaving. He quickly pulled out his soul card, and vanished in front of everyone. I bid you farewell. You all stay and enjoy yourselves here. I will go check out the training ground. With that, Song Yunxiang summoned his mecha, then leaped up. It must be a top-grade elixir. Then Song Yunxiang casually set up a level 4 giant soul array. Within this formation, he practiced. The speed of soul power recovery increased by more than 5 times. This scene left everyone in awe. The effect of this medicine is simply incredible. The soul power is rich and gentle. It not only fills her up instantly, but also surges out like a roaring tide. What she had eaten before can't be compared to this at all. Seeing the level 5 blood soul pill, everyone was dumbfounded with shock. That was incredibly generous. Shangguan Yingqin swallowed it. She couldn't help but exclaim. Even if I hadn't just saved him, he probably would have had some life-saving trick up his sleeve. Not only can I not kill him now, but I also have to make sure this girl doesn't die before getting the Star Soul Dragon Colt. With that in mind, Song Yunxiang took out a pill and handed it to him. The target did not have data on the Dragon Colt. Only then did Song Yunxiang remember that the other party should have acquired the Dragon Colt's soul desire. So, feeling awkward, he quickly let go of his hand. Based on how things developed in the last life, but father said, our Song family only accepts live-in sons-in-law. Can Junior Song accept becoming a live-in son-in-law? But in the next second, the system prompted that the copy had failed. That way, we can get rid of a troublesome enemy in advance. Seeing how excited she looks, Shangguan Yin is shyly lost in thought. She grabs my hand. Could she be about to confess? Thinking of this, Lao Song grabbed her hand tightly. Star Master System. Copy her Star Soul Dragon slaying sniper for me. Wait until the copy is ready. Just kill this crazy girl early. The Shangguan family, led by Lin Zhendao, betrayed Tiandu. This crazy woman, as her former enemy, has put her in danger several times. If it weren't for her good luck back then, she would probably have died at her hands. Old Song heard his name, and showed a surprised expression. He remembered in his previous life, Shangguan Yingqin was the owner of the Star Soul Dragon Foal. In the final battle between Tiandu and Milun, everyone else will be disarmed as well. We don't know when the next wave of beasts will arrive. Everyone is trying to recover their soul power as fast as possible. Shangguan Yingqin walked over. He shyly expressed his gratitude. In my impression, wasn't he a useless soul with a crippled core? Once the beast tide ends, I need to capture this kid and interrogate him quickly. After the danger is cleared, they all had a look of surprise. It turned out to be that famous loser from first grade, the so-called 3-minute wonder, Song Yunxiang. At the same time, Dean Gu Shijing in the command room also witnessed this scene. Theoretically, it can last for about 10 minutes. After the last fierce beast is dealt with, Lao Song's soul power was completely exhausted. He was disarmed. At this moment, when everyone saw him, soul power is insufficient. Armament will soon be disengaged. The soul veins have now been preliminarily repaired, but the level is still just at the peak of Emperor rank. Only using the Wei Yuan warrior's armament, the pressure on the instructor suddenly decreased, allowing for a counterattack. With everyone working together, they gradually gained the upper hand. At this moment, a notification came through Old Song's mecha. Help is on the way. Old Song jumped up, and charged towards the other ferocious beasts. With a flurry of attacks, the surrounding beasts quickly diminished by almost half. Thank you, Shangguan Yinchin. After saying that, even the mecha blushed. That classmate over there with the strong killing intent, stop dragging your feet. Hurry and come support us. Lying on the ground like a dog. It's so embarrassing. At that moment, Old Song came over to help her up. Can you still fight? I can still do it. Like slicing through butter, he saved the damsel in distress once again. Shangguan Yinchin saw this scene. Her heart raced, her face flushed. This guy is way too handsome. I need to get up quickly. He was still caught off guard and hit by a beast's ambush. Then several beasts rushed at him, trapping him in the center. In this critical moment, Old Song flashed by. Several students and instructors formed a tortoise-shell formation. They were struggling to hold on with handheld bows. However, the elite class's Shangguan Yinchin chose to take the initiative and attack. In battle mode, he was like a madman. Although his high mobility gave him a slight advantage, then, it charged at the ferocious beast on its own. With one slash, it was split in half. After exchanging a few pleasantries, Old Song rushed to the next battlefield. At this moment, in the dormitory area of Jiwu Academy, he switched to the Wei Yuan model used by cadets from the last internal inspection. But the weaponry was terrible. A series of attacks were no different from scratching an itch for the fierce beast. Then he summoned a new master. The system independently constructed Lu Bu's Sky Piercer halberd. The girl was being forcibly pinned to the ground. The monster immediately lunged with its mouth wide open. In the next second, several attacks followed one after another. Old Song landed his mech here. Because Lu Bu had drawn too much attention earlier, it could only be stored in the system space for now. They would need to find a suitable owner before proceeding with replication. Hearing this, Lao Song could only sigh helplessly. Since the soul jade was in hand, he should go rescue the instructor and his classmates who were in a tough battle. Cracks began to spread across the statue's head. Come out. Old Song increased his pulling force again. The soul jade finally fell into his hands. But the system informed him that it could not replicate Swasi's data. Not long after, Old Song arrived at the Dance Enforcement Center. His target was the soul jade on the left in front of him. Then, he leaped up, and landed on the statue's shoulder. The Star Lord system forcibly pulled the Zwetsi soul jade as Old Song extended his arm. At the same time, in the command room of the Engineering Academy, the dean surprisingly received a report from his assistant. At the 3 o'clock position, support was received from a mysterious expert. Mysterious star souls on horseback were also spotted at the 4 and 5 o'clock positions. At that moment, the girl he saved also remembered his name in her heart. Along the way, Old Song cut down the ferocious beasts he encountered like a hot knife through butter. Perfectly displayed Lu Bu's unparalleled combat power as a war god. However, this scene was noticed by an old man. Interesting, clearly just a young fellow at the peak of the imperial rank. Old Song didn't look back. He just tossed a bottle of elixir over. My name is Song Yunxiang. I just happened to pass by. After saying that, he summoned the fire dragon foal and rushed to another battlefield. Consider it the price for saving you. Then he fed the girl a pill, and led her towards the remaining few. Wait, you're a student from our Jiwu Academy, right? Which class are you in? Their confidence was boosted as they shouted in unison. He saw the girl lying next to him wasn't dead yet. Old Song was ready to lend a hand. You're lucky to run into me. I'll be taking your soul talisman. Everyone, no need to be nervous. I'm just a passerby. The flag of Tiandu shouldn't fall to the ground. Tiandu will surely win. Hearing this slogan, Old Song waved his arm, and the Fengtian halberd transformed into countless glimmers of light, reforming in his hand. Then, both man and horse charged into the pack of fierce beasts. A series of explosions followed. A beam of light descended from the sky, instantly freezing the beast's body. As the smoke cleared, he could finally see a halberd. Meanwhile, the sound of approaching hooves grew louder. The instructor is not far away. In a moment of inattention, he was also knocked to the ground. Just as he was waiting for a reaction, the ferocious beast raised its fist to strike. He was about to meet his end. The originally 100-strong team has suffered heavy casualties. The few remaining members are also trapped together by the fierce beasts. They are struggling to hold on. Team members are constantly being dragged outside by the beasts. Then they are swarmed and torn apart. Meanwhile, inside the Dome City, fierce battles are taking place in the West District. The 5th Squad of the district's defense forces is working together with the Jiwoo Academy to resist this wave of attacks. But the situation is not looking good now. Song Yunxiang, wait a moment. The target of the Milun Kingdom this time is related to Zhuoci. Be careful. After Lao Song replied with thanks, he jumped up and left the place. So why could he? Could it be Zhuoci from the Jiwoo Academy? According to Taiyuan's intel, it said that Zhuoci has the ability to transform into other Star Soul generals. Is this man Zhuoci's wielder? Since my actions can change history, then I must save them. Gazing at the crimson flame dragon horse that only a heavenly rank can unlock, the girl couldn't help but feel a bit envious. She clearly couldn't use it yet, terrified and trembling. As the sound faded, a beam of light descended from the sky. Moments later, a majestic warhorse appeared beneath Lu Bu. Could the rift's earlier appearance be because of me? He then left all the ammunition to Asen. And he had to leave too. To save time on the way back, he used triple soul power consumption to summon the Starfall Beast, the Scarlet Flame Fire Dragon Steed. Sensing something unusual, Old Song's expression changed dramatically. It's a rift, how is that possible? The beast tide appeared earlier than in the memories of the previous life. The dome is in danger. It is to unite all humanity, to fight against the true enemy. Just as he finished speaking, a sudden gust of wind swept through. The sky instantly darkened a little. The man in front of him was still a mystery to him. Don't worry, I'm not your enemy, nor am I an enemy of Taiyuan. In a sense, my goal is the same as yours. I'll leave this guy to you. Take him back to Taiyuan and interrogate him properly. Upon hearing this, Asen immediately became alert. Up until now, in my previous life, I faced him many times, but with my incomplete soul in the past, the gap between us was immense. Thinking of this, the scar on my right eye left from that night begins to ache faintly. He also wields the powerful Star Soul General's weapon. He comes from the sunken island nation of Taiha. At least, that's what's known from past lives. He led the remnants of Taiha and joined the Niran army as mercenaries. Since then, he's been active on the battlefield invading the Heavenly Kingdom. The leader was also slammed into the ground by the counterattack. Through the suicide fong hidden in his mouth, Lao Song figured something out. You must be one of Yi Wang's subordinates. Yi Wang is the king of mercenaries commanding 330,000 Taiha remnants. He then ignited his soul power. He wanted to self-destruct and take them down with him, but in front of Old Song. Such a tactic was like showing off in front of a master. With a single punch, he shattered the opponent's mech into pieces. Honestly confess, you bunch of scoundrels from Milun country, what are you trying to do? The sword was exposed. The leader's face turned vicious. Such humiliation. How can an old man endure it? He immediately charged over with his knife, but before he could get close, both arms were instantly severed by Old Song. Is just like a veteran, with decades of combat experience. After taking out the last minion, the two of them simultaneously looked toward the small leader's position. Long-haired bald man, come over and kneel to surrender. Asan notices something off. That person clearly only has a Huang stage cultivation, but they can accurately strike the enemy at the center of the body with minimal movement. Their precise control of soul power, along with their clean and swift movements. He suggests dealing with the current situation first. Asan gives a cold snort upon seeing this. He doesn't say much more. The two then rush into the enemy forces. As more enemies fall, at the same time, the chains binding Lu Bu break apart piece by piece. When the girl turns around, she's dumbfounded. Because the mech behind her, aside from the color, the rest are almost the same. Lao Song knows this isn't the time for explanations. Seeing the situation turn bad, the girl tries to resist, but no matter how hard she struggles, it's in vain. And just when the other side is about to succeed, a blue flash of light streaks by in an instant, immediately restricting his movements. This formation was designed specifically for capturing Star Soul generals. Once bound, it is extremely difficult to break free. Then, a circular device was placed behind his back. The device was capable of forcibly extracting the Soul Stone data of the Star Soul general. It's time to capture them. Activate the Stellar Locking Soul Array. As the leader finished speaking, 8 special magic arrays suddenly appeared around Lu Bu. From each array, a purple chain emerged. And this is precisely the Star Soul general. The unmatched war god Lu Bu instantly severed the enemy before him. However, more and more mech surrounded him. Although the Wei Yuan soldiers were merely basic mass-produced Star Soul generals of the Tiandu nation, they still posed a significant threat when there were enough of them. Star Soul, enough with the show. As the voice fell, A blue beam of light descended from the sky, fragments continuously gathered around him. Immediately, the dual-handed weapons materialized, and 4 massive mechs trapped him in the center. Stop playing around and quickly deal with this little brat. The mecha received the order and immediately swung its blade down. Seeing this, Ah-san instantly leaped up. He jumped into the air. Later, his star soul transformed into a soul jade, sealed in this statue to guard it. Asen, chased by numerous black-robed figures, was forced into the forest. But this was exactly part of their trap. The surrounding barriers instantly activated. Since then, countless star soul masters have followed him. They expanded territories on a continent ravaged by fierce beasts. The first Dean was the hero chosen by Xinghuan generals Wasi. He commanded Wasi and secured this territory of the southern province for the kingdom of Tiandu. And in year 400, he founded this southern province academy of mechanics and martial arts. I remember in the previous life, the southern province martial institute was destroyed in this tidal surge. The soul of Xinghuan generals Wasi also disappeared. Could it be related to the spies from the mysterious Will Kingdom? Legend has it that 1,000 years ago, a wise man from the human race created the Xinghuan generals. Right after Asen ran away, several hooded figures started chasing after him. Through his system, Old Song discovered that they were also from the Milun Kingdom. Just like the black-clad man he encountered near Jiwu Academy, he hadn't expected so many Milun Kingdom spies had already infiltrated. As Lao Song was reminiscing about the sweet memories of the past, a panicked Asen broke his arm. Then he immediately drew a dagger and stabbed forward. Old Song blocked it with his hand and tried to explain. But the next second, he was kicked in the groin by a high heel. In the previous life, I didn't meet him until 3 years later. By that time, he had already become a near-saint-level powerhouse. With Lu Bu's unmatched battle strength, leading the charge alone, he forcibly intervened in battles across nations, stopping the internal slaughter among the human race. Immediately, Old Song reflexively grabbed the girl's arm and touched the holder of the Star Soul Descend. Star Soul Descend, Lu Bu, begins copying. Asan is an assassin from the mysterious organization, Taiyuan. He is also the one who possesses the Star Soul of Lu Bu. After that, the other party left the pharmacy. The red side immediately reported this incident to the forces behind them. On the way back, the appearance of a red-haired girl excited Old Song greatly, because this girl was his girlfriend from his previous life, Asan. But it also has terrifying connections and resource channels. This is to guard against future crises. He needs to quickly enhance his combat power and build his own influence. The Hong Chamber of Commerce is a big fish that can be used well. Later, Old Song offered him a friendship price and sold him all the pills in a bundle, frozen in place for a moment. And this was exactly the effect Old Song wanted. The force behind Lanzhou Pharmacy was the Hong's Chamber of Commerce. The Hong Chamber of Commerce is one of the 3 major chambers in the eastern continent. Not only is it as wealthy as a nation, Old Song confirmed his answer, and took out 2 more, indicating they would be sold together. Red Fong was struck. As if hit by lightning, the red team cautiously took out a red bottle, and asked if it was the legendary level 5 blood-burning pill. The blood-burning pill has a remarkable effect on helping new soul masters break through major bottlenecks. Such a valuable item, even he rarely ever saw one. Afterwards, the 2 waited in the alchemy room for an hour. The door to the room slowly opened. Old Song saw them, and couldn't help but feel secretly pleased. They took the bait. After the introductions, his soul veins can be repaired. At the same time, the girl delivered the pill to the shopkeeper. Shopkeeper Hong Fong carefully examined it, and showed the same surprised expression. The formation began to operate slowly, until the moment the pill took shape. Old Song revealed a satisfied smile. Level 6 pill, rebirth pill. With this pill, he waved his arm. A complex pattern suddenly materialized on the ground. He then took out the herbs from his storage bag. Together with the recently obtained Tianlong stem, he tossed them in, under the impetus of spiritual power. Then, Old Song took the heavenly dragon stem to the alchemy room. But inside there was only a broken alchemy furnace. Fortunately, he had learned training techniques from the Lingyuan tribe of the southern continent. He could refine pills by hand without a furnace. The 4 directions melted and resonated. But Old Song said he had no money. However, he wanted to sell them these elixirs. The girl was about to refuse. After seeing what was on the table, he was dumbfounded. Could this be the rare level 4 spirit gathering pill? At this time, someone from the Mirage will shows up here. There must be some unspeakable secret. Soon, they arrived at the pharmacy. The greeter at the door warmly welcomed them, and brought out the newly arrived Tianlong root. He speculated that the other party practiced the methods of the people from the Miran Kingdom. In his past life memories, it was the Miran Kingdom that first broke the balance of power. and launched an invasion against the Tiandu kingdom. Other countries gradually got drawn into the war. This became the fuse for the destruction of the eastern continent. Just as I was finishing up, I received a message from the shop assistant. He hurried back to the pharmacy. However, the man in the mask he passed on the way caught his attention. After scanning the Star Master, although I only learned the basics of formations in my previous life, it would probably still be at least 100 years ahead of this era. Unfortunately, my current level is too low. I can only set up a slowdown formation to reduce the speed of the fierce beasts, but the clerk informed him that he'd need to wait a few more hours. Hearing this, Old Song looked helpless. However, he could take the opportunity to set up some formations to deal with the ferocious beasts. When he arrived at the Martial Academy, I scouted a few suitable locations. The duplicated Star Soul General could only display less than 20% of its combat power. Now I just need to refine one more rebirth pill to completely repair the damaged soul veins without any lingering issues. Not long after, he arrived at the Nanzhou apothecary to pick up the Tianlong herb he had ordered a few days ago. It was still too much for his body with a damaged soul vein. In his previous life, it wasn't until his 50s that he was able to repair it. Even though the soul vein reconstruction pill barely fixed it, it still left some hidden dangers. He was stuck at the Saint rank, unable to progress. Recalling those past scenes, he secretly vowed to change all the regrets. 3 days later, bursts of golden light erupted from Old Song's room. He immediately stopped what he was doing. Although he managed to break through from the early yellow rank to the peak in just 3 days. Sorry, Brother Yunxiang. Brother Yunxiang, I'm here to cut off the supply. Song Yunxiang. You still owe me 3 things, but this time is different. He's been reborn with 60 years of memories and experience. Song Yunxiang, hurry and lead them to escape. Song Yunxiang, don't go back. Yunxiang, just go. According to the memories of the previous life, the Shou dynasty will attack Jiwu Academy in 3 days. Instructors, classmates, elders, and brothers, many will fight to the death in this battle. Back then, he could only watch it all happen, powerless to stop it. Fortunately, with the help of the new master system, he narrowly escaped death time and time again. Unexpectedly, he was reborn alongside him, but unfortunately, the newly replicated souls from before were all lost. At that time, he only knew how to waste time. Every day was filled with food, drink, and entertainment. Later, the Tiandu kingdom was invaded. The Song family was completely wiped out. Even the Jiwu Academy was destroyed during the Shou dynasty. I actually went back 60 years. 60 years ago, he was a discarded waste because of his naturally flawed soul vein. His family looked down on him. In order to protect him, his father used connections to send him to the South State Dance Academy in the Tiandu kingdom of the Eastern continent. Song Yunxiang, wake up. Hearing the call, he opened his eyes again. He found himself in an unfamiliar place. Reflected in the mirror was his 18-year-old self. This is Nanzhou Street Dance Academy. Then, continuous explosions echoed. After a long time, the smoke cleared. Only a crater several thousand meters wide remained. Everything inside turned into nothingness. Hey, Song Yunxiang. He made a decision to entrust the future to all of you. I'm sorry, that's all. He then burned his own life and initiated self-detonation. Immediately, beams of light scattered like fireworks in all directions. The stars hit by the beams instantly turned into fireballs. As a result, he can only exert less than 20% of his combat strength. But now, the cracks in the sky are growing, and the monsters appearing are becoming stronger. Relying on him alone is no longer enough. In the end, he chose to buy time for the others to escape. Star Soul General Ao Bing possesses terrifying large-scale destructive capabilities. Star Soul Descended Lu Bu, Star Soul Descended Guan Yu, and Star Soul Descended Dragon Steed are all power-type beings with unmatched strength. However, due to his incomplete soul veins during childhood, he was left with a lifelong hidden flaw. It has the heaven-defying ability to copy other people's Star Soul Generals. Star Soul General Chao Ren, a phoenix form that can transform and fly. Star Soul General Bai Qi, a balanced combination of power and speed. Xinghuan descends, and Yuanzhu flashes to block it, but this also causes the mech to be severely damaged. Immediately, Song Yunxiang uses the Star Master system, and summons other star spirits. The Star Lord system is a mysterious power he accidentally obtained decades ago from the ruins of a certain civilization. He alone struggled to protect everyone. At this moment, a buzzing sound arises. Several monsters appear again in the sky, launching another attack on the ground. In a critical moment, but just at that moment, a golden light whistled down. At the same time, countless sword shadows instantly struck down all the monsters. When people looked up, They saw a golden mech appearing above the city. The last human stronghold has been invaded. Countless monsters have broken through the dimensional barrier. They surged into the city. They devoured and harvested all living things in sight. Despair and helplessness filled every corner in an instant. Protecting humanity for decades. Facing tens of thousands of powerful enemies. He ultimately lost, fighting alone. He had no choice but to perish together with the new monster. Year 1390 of the new era. So that is my perception of myself. Just thinking about this, Song Yunxiang couldn't help but feel sorrowful. He was once a cripple with a broken soul vein, unable to summon a soul general. Yet, he alone slew countless beasts. He transformed into the appearance of a maid from the Qin dynasty. Seeing this scene, Song Yunxiang smirked, just as I thought. As long as one imagines their own appearance in their heart, they can transform freely. No wonder he revealed his true form just now. Suddenly, he recalled the 4 words that appeared on the back of the mask. Appearance comes from the heart. Could it be that the mask could change its form based on his thoughts? With this thought, Yunxiang decided to test it out. In the end, there was just a swoosh sound. With a quick move, he restricted the opponent's actions. Qing Dai, who was bound, was just about to shout to draw the attention of the guards outside. But before he could open his mouth, Song Yunxiang quickly covered his mouth and nose. He awkwardly looked at their intimate position reflected in the mirror. Where is young Master Yunxiang? Song Yunxiang hurried forward to explain. Unexpectedly, Qing Dai instantly drew his sword and thrust it forward. Fortunately, Song Yunxiang was battle-hardened, with rich combat experience. He couldn't believe he had become his elderly self from his previous life. But before he could come to his senses, the maid entered the room to clean as usual. But when he saw the unfamiliar old man in front of him, he immediately asked warily, "Who are you?" This is the mask that all men drool over. It not only transforms a person into an old man just turning 18, but can also change into any form one imagines. When Song Yunxiang put on the mask, he was shocked for 2.5 seconds.